Huge show this week, everybody. We got special guests Wells Thompson and Dalton Shannon to talk about their comic depths. I watched Shazam, I watched Quantamania, and I watched Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about those. The Flash is coming out. Little Mermaid is definitely in my viewing for the week because I have daughters that want me to go see it, and a lot more. This is Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across Multiverse. My name is the Bat Daddy 52, Mark 181. Here we go. Oh, welcome back, everybody. Man, this is a big week. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got special guests this week, like I mentioned before. I'm here with my homeboy, Ross. We are kicking it off every Friday night talking about, I always feel weird saying pop culture because I feel like I'm talking about stuff that I'm not really talking about. But what else can I describe it as, Ross?
Just be real. It's because you want to sing pop-up video in your head every single time you say
True.
it. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then now we're aged already. You caught me off guard with apparently a new style of coming into the show right off the bat. You were saying words. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I was inspired by listening to a lot of the podcasts. And I was like, let me try that and see what happens. So
gotta keep it fresh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 181 episodes in, you got to do something different. Otherwise, people won't come back, right?
For sure.
We have special guests this week, returning Wells Thompson. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm here. I'm glad you're back to talk about some new work because we talked about Megatron with you before. You have a lot of stuff going on, but it's awesome to have you back, and we're going to dive into your stuff here in just a moment. Joining us also is Dalton Shannon. How you doing, bud?
Oh, doing fantastic. Good to be back. Thanks for having us again.
Yeah, no problem. So you guys have a lot of things in the fire, I guess. A lot of irons in the fire, I guess, right now. A lot of things going on. I know you talked about Mechaton before.
A lot of things on fire at the moment.
On fire. I hear you. We talked about Mechaton before, Frankenstein, the Unconquered, I know you guys are covering. And right now we're going to talk about Depth. So this is a graphic novel you guys are covering. So give me an elevator pitch of this this book, and then we'll start talking about it.
Yeah, Depths is the story of a 1930s engineer that gets trapped underwater for 3 years in a perpetual diving suit of his own creation, and he has to fight against the environment, sea monsters, and his own inner demons in order to make it back.
Okay. Yeah. That's a perfect little elevator pitch right there. Yeah.
Gotta work practice. Gotta oil it. Yeah.
I hear you. No. So this is a little different. It feels like we've dealt with a lot of post-apocalyptic stories lately with a lot of guests we've had. So this is a slight change from what we've had. The artwork is beautiful, and I didn't get a ton of the story. I got like 4 pages of the story, enough to make me want to figure out what happens next or what's going on. We're going to dive into that. But Ross, just initial thoughts. What do you think about this, man?
Well, just gonna go off your pitch. This guy made his own suit.
Well, yes. with friends, yeah, you know,
with friends, he did it as a wonderful event. What I saw in the paper through you guys' promo stuff was really cool. I just like it was it Mechatron? Is that the last one?
Yeah,
Mechaton. There you go. Just like the artwork and the style and everything else, you guys keep bringing it top notch. What I love about this little one that you have right here is I didn't even know what I saw that shot right there, and I was like,
"That's pretty cool."
Where are we going to go? Like, where is the next dot that we're going to connect ourselves to? Because I don't know what's going to happen right here. Pleasantly taken aback. Immediately, first thing you're going to feel is like abyss. Something something that happens deep and dark and very uncomfortably tight places, even though you're swimming in the enormous sea. But I love what you got on paper so far, or screen. I want to know, where did it stem from? Like, that's the thing right now. Where did this idea come from?
Depression. All sorts of good stuff. No, it's we were young and we were depressed, and we were like, let's write a story about that. And it's funny you mentioned the all the apocalypse stories earlier, because I mean, this happens all the time when Wells and I are working. I'll bring him an idea and he'll be able to understand what the book is about before I do, and I wrote the thing. And and so like when you said all these apocalypse stories, we'd been on a few other shows where they mentioned that the book's really tapping into the isolation from lockdown and everything. And I was like, oh my God, I guess it is. But seeing it in that same kind of view, along with a bunch of apocalypse stories that have come out since lockdown as well, like seeing everyone's ideas that came out of lockdown was like end of the world, and ours was, oh, doesn't being by yourself just suck balls? Like that was so yeah, it came from depression, it came from isolation, and trying to find a way through that. And honestly, I started the story by myself, and I wasn't able to finish it until I started working with Wells, and it became our first collaborative project. And well, he saved the book, honestly. So
That's me.
so yeah, so yeah,
You're welcome.
the book was made because of what we're trying to do with the book.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, and it's honestly, with you describing it like that and depression, like I think that I was reading one of the things you'd sent me about like the mindset of this book, and it's almost poetic justice, it being named depth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know,
depths.
with your, and I'm assuming that's what you were going for, with it
Yeah.
being, diving so deep into the mind about
Mhm.
things like this is a story about solitude. I'm assuming I haven't read too far into it because I only got the first 4 pages, but
That's because that's all that exists.
okay, well there you go. So the first 4 pages.
Some people have been like, I didn't get my copy, and I was like, that's because there aren't copies, man.
Not yet, but there should be.
Not
Right?
yet.
Yeah.
So
That's why we're doing Kickstarter.
There
Yes.
you go. It's definitely a story that intrigues me as to what's going to happen next. I like the way you guys, kind of shifting gears here, I like the way you guys, at least in the shot you showed me, introduced like the background story of the character. Like you
Mhm.
give me the character and where he's at, and then you flash back almost immediately and kind of give me an idea of how he's been there and why he's been there. And I see that in the story, the father figure is a big point, or at least from what I can read in the first few pages.
For sure.
Mhm.
Just as much about like isolation and dealing with yourself. It's just as much about that as it is about kind of discovering who your father was, and trying to reconcile that with the man that you always thought that he was. Dalton says likes to say that this is his book about daddy issues.
I had a lot to work through with this book.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested to see where this goes, especially based on what you just said, because like when you talk about the father and I see the things you have the father doing this, I'm like, oh, that kind of sounds like me. Like, oh no, where is this going? But we'll see what happens. Maybe it takes a shift and it's not something I would do. I'm not sure.
Don't worry. The fact that he plays with his kids is not a bad thing.
No.
Right. How you play is a different kind of story, but yeah, it's a good story. Like I said, the first little bit of it right here is going into this, and this is a suit that he has built,
Mm-hmm.
like Ross said, which is pretty insane. I gotta ask. I know that so his brother's looking for him, and he's been gone for 3 years.
Yes. Yeah. Well, his best friend.
But his best friend. Okay, his best friend's looking for him. So, and I guess maybe this is answered later. How do you survive underwater in a suit for 3 years? Or is this not all underwater?
I mean, it's both in that.
Read the book. I got you.
I was going to say, he's asking you to spoil it. He's like, tell me how the ending works. I want to know about the ending. Start there.
No, so it's a story that's split in 2 and 3 sometimes. You've got the stuff with Emil underwater, and he can stay underwater because that suit can keep him alive indefinitely. It takes in the water, converts it into oxygen, and he's able to continue to just walk around, hunt fish, that kind of stuff. And then your B plot is James on the surface, manically trying to find his friend, even though nobody believes that Emil's alive. And so you get kind of the 2 sides of the depression coin going on in the main book. And then of course it's just riddled with flashbacks all throughout.
Lots of little flashbacks just peppered in for flavor. I mean, there's a lot of time to do things like reflect in when you're by yourself. So we take advantage of that as best we can, and spice up. If the underwater setting is really interesting, but if you stayed there the entire time, it could quickly get tiresome. So we wanted to.
That was going to be a question of mine.
Yeah.
Like, how do you really parse out the time here whenever you have you have a vast area setting wise, to play with, but like, how does that really pay off? Like, how are you able to make it pay off for the reader? Are you there the whole time? So if you're not there the whole time, then clearly that helps, add a little bit of a breathing room to the story.
Yeah,
sure.
we tried it where we were just underwater the whole time and it wasn't working. Like
like a Pink Floyd music video.
Yeah, the pacing was awful. Like it was like you just wanted to stop reading. It was very shoegazy and just not fun at all. So like you need to spice those things up with the above ground stuff. And then of course, being underwater, there's so much cool stuff to see underwater as well. So you have all these great set pieces as well. But no, being underwater is a great place to really dive into all of the what the book is about, which is we've been making those puns all campaign.
You said reflect earlier, and I held off on that one.
Yeah, but yeah,
that's a new one. Yeah,
that's what the book is. It's a character piece, and this setting really helps amplify that in a great way.
Okay. So one question I always ask creators when they come on here with these books, especially, is like from concept to what you see right now, how alike is it? Like did you envision what you see right now, or did you have a totally different vision on what was going on? Because I know you said you talked about doing the whole thing underwater and the pacing wasn't right, didn't work well. So was this vision you have with, like you said, kind of 3 plots going on, the original intended story, or is that kind of what came out of what we see works?
Yeah, that was sort of a later invention, because it's kind of both in a weird way. The first chapter, the first 28 pages, although I think it was 22 back then, are pretty much the same. Like the core of that story of like how Emil winds up underwater, the introduction, how we meet all the characters, that's all the same. And in the original version of the story, we went down with Emil and we stayed down the entire time.
Okay.
And it was me coming to it and reading it and being like, okay, first of all, like we need to finish this. We need to make this a whole thing and figure out what about it works. But also, like you set up these characters. You set up James Harrigan and Grace Martin. These like really striking personality driven, huge personalities. And we're just going to leave them. We're just never going to come back to them. You kidding me? So immediately I was like, we need to see what's going on with them. That it's just as much their story as it is Emil's in a lot of ways. And then it kind of came down to narrative utility and pacing, like he said, is of just trying to figure out, what was the best way to kind of trade it off so that the reader wasn't getting bored or we weren't hammering home the same points too often, whatever or just giving, allowing a space where we could move the plot along so that you're not like tracing his every step, because that can get really tedious. So in a lot of ways, there are elements from the book that have been there since the beginning, and this is also our most edited project.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think that we've done about 5
87 drafts.
Of this thing. Yeah.
Wow.
I was going to say 4 or 5, but
well,
4 or 5, 87.
I asked because, like, I have an idea in my mind for a book, and I've been thinking about stories and characters and everything I can write up, and I'm trying to imagine what it could be, like, what in my mind I see and what it could be, because my daughter's a fantastic artist, and if I was going to do it, she'd be my artist. But like I look at it like I see movies and television shows, and then I listen to audiobooks of the same thing. Like just take House of the Dragon, for instance. Like what I listen to and what I see. So it's like I listen to it beforehand or I read it beforehand, one of the two, and then I imagine in my mind what it's going to be. Then I see what somebody else puts on screen or what somebody else puts up there. And it's just kind of crazy to see the different ways things can be interpreted and the conception. So I really want to know, like, when you talk about that, when you look at these things, is it any fan or otherwise somebody other than you two input on, hey, maybe you should change this? Or is it completely, we read this and we see this is a problem, or not a problem, but something we want to change and change it?
I think that's one of the great things about working in comics specifically is the collaborative nature of the medium, or
Okay.
at least this stage of it, because the way Jay draws depths is not how I envisioned it when I first started writing it, because I was I was probably 2022 when I first started writing depths, and I was just imagining this slick mainstream whatever bullshit kind of comic. And then we were talking with Jay, and just seeing his style on the page bring what had only been at that point words to life. It recontextualized the story and made it even more grounded than it had been before. And then of course Rajesh comes on with the colors, and then Nathan's letters brings it all home. Like uh, nowhere in any part of the process of writing this book could I have imagined it would be this good.
Okay.
And in the same token, we give our teammates a lot of leeway when we're making a book. Like, if this is not working on the page, you're the artist, you know what works best on the page. Change it if it needs to. Just run it by us.
Okay.
And like 99% of the time they're right, and it works. So no, it's never just what you set out to do in your head. The adaptation is the fun of it, and it becomes a better book because of it.
That's really cool to hear, especially with you talking about the collaborative effort on this medium, because like it's basically you've created a framework for this idea, and you have everybody else coming in and adding to or perfecting,
bringing it to life.
Yes, bring it to life, exactly.
Yeah.
That's an awesome thing to hear. So basically, the what the finished product is more of a collaboration of everybody's ideas coming together to make this a perfect thing, rather than exactly what you imagine from the beginning.
No,
So,
I would need to draw and letter and color every single line on this page for it to be anywhere close to what was up here to begin with, and that's just not going to happen.
And that's and then you run into like issues of of skill, frankly.
Yeah.
Not that Dalton is a pretty good artist, but I don't think he's satisfied with his own ability to, even the stuff that he thinks like is in his head. I don't think he can really do as much as he would like. And so it's great to be able to go to people who are as passionate about their craft as we are about ours, and kind of everyone being able to bring their A game to it. You wind up with a much better book. So
it's always a good thing when you bring when you can just foster an environment like that, and not to mention when you're able to put your faith and backing in someone who can do that same exact thing. Because like you said, the passion is really what makes all this work. And I love hearing the stories of creators when they come on here and say just that, because you are essentially creating a better community. Hence, it may be a micro community because of what you're working on, but it still is a community that you're bettering, and you're allowing other people to better themselves. Because there are so many ugly stories about, like what big brand name comics have done to the industry. And when you're able to take all of these types of passion projects, whether or not be something that you are, you can't wait to get onto the paper, or you can't wait to get out of your head, or you can't, or a project that you might just want to do as a fun thing. When you're able to just do that for people, like Greg said, like you guys have just discussed, I love it. I think that it's one of the best things about always talking to content creators that do content like this, because if it's truly collaborative, it just falls into place.
Yeah. I mean, and depths would, by all accounts, not exist if I was doing it by myself from the get-go. Like, it would be dead. It wouldn't exist. And it was because Wells came in, and I trusted Wells, and then we trusted Jay, and then Jay trusted Rajesh, and Nate. Like, it's all it's a collaboration, and that's what's pretty.
Yeah.
I'm always reminded of some advice. I don't know if you can call it advice, but in college, Dalton and I had this teacher. Shout out to Jennifer Gerber.
Jen Gerber.
Yeah. Excellent film teacher. And she said something along the lines of, when you're trying to make it in the industry, we already have David O. Russell. We don't need someone else who, we don't need the asshole genius that like treats everyone like shit, but the end product is great. We have enough of those. The only way you're ever going to make it here is if you treat everyone like an equal and like a collaborator, and they're excited to be working with you. So yeah, I've always brought that kind of energy to all of my projects. Is just like, this is our thing. Let's do it.
The art world does not need any more auteurs.
Yeah.
All right. So I stopped on this page and I came back to this one right here because of all the stuff that I saw. This right here stuck out to me the most. I feel like this right here is a cover or a splash page. This is just beautiful. I love the phrasing of everything here, and just the way this works out. I think you can make this a cover right here, and this would be a beautiful cover. Like just even with that wording, because if I saw a cover with that right there, I'd be like, oh, what's he talking about? Like, what is he talking about? I got to find out what this guy Emil's doing. I wanted to commend y'all. I have 2 more questions left, and then I'm good. I want to commend y'all, one on the depth, or not the depth. That's so crazy. I said that. The range y'all have.
No, we'll take depth. Yeah.
Depth works too. But think about it like this: like Megaton is in space in the universe, and depth is down to the lowest parts of the Earth and the sea. Mm-hmm. So you guys have literally from the lowest point to the highest point you've covered, with all kinds of characters. And guess what? There's no rules. Like, you can create anything you want to. So with that, I see this page right here and this sea creature. Are we going to get to see a lot of really cool looking sea creatures in this in this series?
Yeah,
all of them.
The fun thing about writing a story that takes place underwater is there's not really a lot of inventing you have to do. You just got to do a lot of research. The weird shit is already down there. You don't have to like make it up. It's just there. So just like, I mean, this is, that sea snake maybe doesn't exist in that form. It's
a little exaggerated.
It's an exaggerated monster, but it is just an animal that exists in it's part sea snake, part moray eel. And those things, if you've ever seen a close, like a face of a moray eel, they have teeth like broken glass. Like, they look terrifying.
Yep. Yeah,
there's giant squids and sharks and weird fish and all sorts of stuff down there, and it it doesn't take it anything that we invented, any creature that we invented would have been less impressive than just showing what's really down there. So
okay, that's cool. Okay, and then I guess Ross, do you have anything else you want to say? Because I only have one last question, and then my magazine is empty.
I was going to jump to talking about the Kickstarter. Where are you guys at? What have you? I was briefly just right now scrolling through it, taking a look. I mean, your tiers are, Lord knows, you got quite a bit of range there when it comes to what you're offering. So, tell us a little bit about it. I see you're within 4 days. It looks like.
Well, it's squidgy. It says 4 days, and then it'll say 3 days, and then it'll say 72 hours. So it's actually 5 days. But yeah, we are a little over halfway to our goal. With it ends on Wednesday at 6:15, and we need people to get on board with it. It's definitely, like, we went into it knowing we're going to need about 400 backers. We've done that before. We just need people to get on board. And yeah, like you said with the tiers, we want people to be able to hop on regardless of what they're able to spend. So we have a $10 tier for people who can't afford to give all that much, and we have a $1,000 tier if you want to really ball out and put yourself in the book and get all the good stuff that we have available.
If I were to put myself in the book, what could I be?
So you can be an
angler.
No, you can't be a fish. That's we can't do that. But we can do
fish.
Who am I to deny a man if he wants to be an anglerfish?
Right.
We can make you a background character. We can make you an extra with a line, so we can give you a single line of dialogue, and we can make you a minor character, so someone who has a full scene that kind of participates in the story. only in like one, maybe two scenes, but still has a lot of focus on you. So again, the first, so just as a background character getting drawn in, that's 300, 600 to add a line of dialogue, and then 1,000 to be a minor character. And we also have a commission tier for if you want some original art done. Jay Sheik will make an original character for it, or an original artwork for you. We've got collected tiers, everything tiers with all of the add-ons and everything in there at a discounted rate. The most popular so far has been the hardcover, which with Heather Vaughn's really amazing artwork on it. This is our first time doing a hardcover book because it's the first time it's been big enough. So we're really excited to be breaking that in and doing that.
112 pages is that's a good size. I think a lot of people get lost in the details when they see certain projects on Kickstarter and don't go into, hey, I'm buying a one-off issue comic, or I'm buying a graphic novel. So to remind everybody, this is a full-on graphic novel, 100 plus pages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not just getting a comic. That's a very, very good point. Man, this is an amazing thing right here. I hope you guys hit the Kickstarter. I hope you guys hit the goal before it goes to the end here. Please check these guys out. I will include all of the information in the show, or in the show notes, to be able to contact this and find you guys. I do have one more question, and it's actually not for either one of you. It's for Ross.
Oh.
How long would you look for me? if I was lost at sea, brother.
It's like,
how long would you look for me?
We're on this
question.
spot.
That's right. Make me feel good. Don't give me the real answer. Make me feel good.
I mean, I feel like you're well worth a week of my time.
That's cool. No, like that sounds about right.
Look, we've been friends for over 30 years. I think it's pretty safe to say it's been a better part of that. Try my best to look out for you, find you.
Likewise,
what is looking, right? Like,
Yeah.
aren't we all looking for someone in our heart?
Third eye,
Well,
maybe.
I'll be looking for you whenever you go away.
There you go. There you go. Well, fellas, I really do appreciate it. Do you have anything else you want to comment about this this piece? I'm kind of out of questions here. Ross, I don't know if you have anything else you want to say.
This is a really personal book for us, and it's one that we've been wanting to get out for as long as we've been writing together. We really love the state that it's in, the art team that's on it, and we would love to be able to commit full time to making it and getting it out to you guys. Yeah, I'm excited about it. One way or another, if things fall through, we will find a way to make it. But here and now is I think the best time. So yeah, if it seems interesting to you, please go support it.
Definitely go back it. Well, fellas, we'll go ahead and end this segment here. Then, where can they find you at? I'll include all this stuff in the show notes, but just if anybody wants to find you, it's listening right now.
Yeah, I'm anywhere that matters at Dalton K. Shannon. I've got a website, daltonkshannon.com, and then we have a newsletter that you can reach through our Twitter bios, Comics, Cats, and Cocktails, where for just one email a month, you get all the access to all our projects and books for reading and all sorts of goodies.
Wow, that's a good deal.
Yeah,
you guys are putting out projects, so
yeah, definitely.
Like I said, everything's on fire.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Wells Thomp. It's just my name minus the last three letters. And I have a website, wellsthompson.com, where you can pick up all of the books that I've made on it links to different places. You can sign up for the newsletter there, and you can contact me directly if you want. As much of a mistake as I'm sure that is. But please bother me. Pretty simple to get a hold of, frankly.
Dude, you're going to get dozens and dozens of emails.
Please
I'm saying that on the show.
I'm
Just so you know, dozens and dozens, yeah.
We'll list the phone number in the show notes.
That's right. Well, fellas, I really do appreciate Fellas, I really do appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and move on with the rest of the show. You're welcome to stay on as long as you want to, but I know both of y'all said you hadn't watched anything else we were talking about. So do y'all want to go ahead and
Not a bit. Yeah.
take this moment to walk out the door? All right.
As much as I would love to sit there and be like, yeah, I don't
Sounds
feel
good. Yeah.
I too heard Quantamania was bad. Yes. Yes. All right. Well, thanks
thank
so
you
much for having us, guys.
Yeah,
It's
thank
good
you
to
so
see you
much.
again,
Shoot me
guys.
an email. We're willing to have you on anytime. It's always a fun
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
Have a
best
good
of
night,
luck.
guys.
time. There you go. Oh, well, I got to change that. There we go. Stretch this out a little bit. Ross,
There
what's
you
up,
go.
man?
Need some room. Dude, we skipped last week.
We did.
I've been watching things off and on. Kind of felt like I didn't really have a whole lot to talk about last week, and don't really feel like I have much more to talk about this week.
There's not. There's really not. That's why we're kind of throwing a show together. But let me tell you something. I took last week off because I know that, like, every once in a while you need a little break. Like, we do this every Friday. We are people. Like, we still need a break on Friday nights every once in a while. But I was also going to Camp Lejeune the next day. And let me tell you, dude, Strader is graduating this year. My nephew, for those who don't know, my nephew's name is Strader. And Ross, you know him, but he's graduating this year. And we went down there because they're moving to San Diego, or he's PCSing to San Diego next week after Strader's graduation. And we're taking their dog, so to take care of her. So we went down to get them, see my mom, see my sister, and everything else before they left. My nephew buys Loot Crate, and apparently has for quite a while, and gave me a ton of shit. So I've got to show this stuff off real quick. I've got a ton of stuff. Like, check this out.
Oh, it's an actual show and tell.
Oh, actual show and tell. I haven't opened any of this stuff yet, but I have a Wonder Woman collectible Loot Crate thing. Probably not going to open that.
Got something to say about Wonder Woman later on.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have a Megatron Beast Wars collectible, and it says on here, this is not a toy. This is an adult collectible, which is cool. I love that it says that.
This is not a toy. This is an adult toy.
I got me an Aquaman statue, or it says action figure. Looks like it's kind of throwback.
Good to see your swimmers are still hard.
This one's cool. Gremlins, especially with the new show coming out, which we're going to talk about in a little while. So I got me a Gremlin statue. I got a DeLorean, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I love Back to the Future, one of my favorite series. Oh, now we're getting into the good stuff. I got me a Deathstroke helmet. Or face mask, excuse me. You know I'm a big helmet guy.
Face mask,
and it comes with Volume 1 of Gods of War in the background, which I'm never going to read from here because I'm not going to open this up.
Because it's not a toy.
Well, I spoke with my wife about it, and there are things I'm going to open up. But if it has a window in the front, I'm not going to open. This does not have a window.
That's an interesting line.
Yeah, this does not have a window. This is a Black Manta DC Black collectible statue. This is probably a 1.5 feet tall. Amazing. I can't wait to open it up and check it out.
Oh, so you haven't even opened this stuff yet?
I haven't opened any of them. Yeah.
Wow. Now, is this willpower, or is this just being an adult and you don't have time?
A little bit of both. Bit of both. Then I also have the matching Aquaman 1.5 foot statue, DC Black collectibles, which is pretty badass. I'm going to open this one up too because there's no window in front.
You can just do an unboxing right here, right now.
I could. I got a Ninja Turtles figurine here. This is a Nickelodeon collectible vinyl art Ninja Turtles Leonardo. He's all blue. It's pretty cool. It's got a window in front, so I probably won't open this.
Yep.
And then I saved the best for last, and I don't know if this is because my nephew knows me and loves me, or he watches the show. But I've made it pretty well known that Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns is my favorite comic, and that's my Batman. That's why I love Ben Affleck as Batman, because that's what he's modeled after. I have this comic digitally. I have the movie. I have the hard copy. I have I have everything that is this comic. But he gave me a Batman Dark Knight Returns cowl.
Tilt it a little bit. It's in the light. There you go.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. It's got the angry wrinkles and everything.
Yeah, everything, man. It's actually got the book, the hard copy of the book in the back of it, which this is a window, and I love this. So this is not getting opened. But man, I don't know if he did that because he knows me and he knows that would be just like, oh man, he'll cream his jeans with these. But I did, and yeah, I've got it now, so I really appreciate it. And to Strader, I really appreciate it, man. And guess what? I'm going to invest in Loot Crate because if you can get all this cool shit from Loot Crate, now he gave
There
me
are
all this
tiers.
stuff. Yeah, he gave me all this stuff that was like outside of his closet. He had an entire closet filled. I mean, filled from the floor to the ceiling, all the way filled with other stuff from Loot Crate that he was keeping. So I can only imagine the stuff you get from Loot Crate. To be truly honest, with you. It's gotta be
I've
pretty
seen
good.
quite a bit of it. I remember when they were before they even jumped on Amazon or anything. I remember when Loot Crate was a standalone subscription service, and I saw and heard and followed podcasts of people that were getting things from there. I listened to people who, like, prior to the pandemic were massive collectible people,
Mhm.
and I mean, I listen to some shows where they start the show off with who got what, and they talk about it, or like typically it's an audio podcast, so you don't see it, but man, they're very descriptive, and you're sitting there the whole time with this, like, the worst sense of jealousy that you've ever had listening to something, and you're like, I want that.
Mhm.
Why can't I have that? And you're like, that's right, because I don't pay that money to do that type of stuff.
Mhm.
Me, I've always, I travel light. I've never really had like a whole lot of place to really store stuff, but I'm thinking about it. Maybe it's the getting older, and I'm like, I do kind of want to save some things, but at the same time, like, I'm not a pack rat. Like,
Yeah, I am.
yeah, I'm not. So
I get that. I mean, I totally get that, and I wish I could live like that, to be honest with you. But the problem is, me and my wife are both like that, but we're pack rats in different ways. Like, I look at something, I'm like, ooh, I could use that one day down the road. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. My wife looks at it like that. I look at it like, ooh, I could show this off one day down the road. Like, I don't necessarily, because all the stuff I buy, like, my wife's funny because she asked me, she's like, well, how much value do you have in this? I'm like, well, I have a lot of value in it, but I'm never going to liquidate that.
yeah.
like there's no chance of me liquidating that. Like, I buy stuff to own it and say that I have this comic that's worth $1,500, something like that, not to sell it for $1,500. Now, granted, I'm sure that if it meant that something would happen, I had to, I would, but no, that's like a last resort right there. That's my savings account, is my collectible stuff. I could
What's
liquidate everything I
the
had and pay for my
is it
house.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the Andy Samberg show?
Yeah.
There's a scene in that to where like, someone who works for the department, like, they get robbed, and so one of their fellow police officers is like, well, how much was stolen? And it's like, emotionally, like $600 million,
Right.
but
Yeah.
in like reality, maybe like $600.
Right.
It means a lot to me, damn it.
Mhm. And that's what's important. Exactly.
Yeah.
It means a lot to you. So, but nah, man, it's really cool. Strader, I appreciate that. You graduating early
Ooh.
next week, which is really cool. I'm gonna try to make it down there as graduation, and then
Words of wisdom: don't grow up too fast.
no,
Don't do it.
definitely don't grow up too fast. Keep collecting this stuff. Keep loving this kind of things. Don't ever grow up. I would say not even grow up too fast. Don't ever grow up. Stay a child forever, because why the hell not? You got to adult sometimes, but damn, when you're not adulting, stay a child. It's way more fun time, dude. I would give anything. I was thinking about it today. My daughter wanted to go to what I'm assuming is her boyfriend's house tonight, and then she wanted to have him walk her to her friend's grandmother's house and spend the night at her friend's grandmother's house.
Oh, this plot has extremely
Exactly,
thickened
yeah,
since the last time we had talked.
So I said, okay. I said, I need to meet the father of this boy, and I need the number of the grandmother and Allie's mom that you're staying at. And if you can do all of that, then okay. And she did, and I trust her, and she's good. But it's just funny because I thought about it today. I remember getting dropped off at your house and always having to bring my bike with me. Like, my parents would put my bike in the car because we would ride all day long on bikes. And I was like, no, my daughter's not doing that. No, there's no way in hell I'm letting her do that. Not nowadays. It's crazy. Times change, man. It's nuts.
There's your
Times have
squirrel on
changed.
adulting.
Yeah, seriously. All right, let's get into some stuff. I watched a lot of stuff this week. I know you went and saw Shazam and Quantamania in theaters, right?
No, I did not see Shazam in
You
theaters.
didn't see Shazam.
No, I did see
Sarah
Quantumania.
did.
Yes,
That's
she did.
Okay. and you did not see Dungeons and Dragons in theaters, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I did want to.
Well,
I actually want to see that. Shazam was really, not so much about, but
well, let's start with Quantumania then. Since you saw it in theaters and I just watched that, it's the okay. Love the first Ant-Man. Second Ant-Man was okay. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love the third Ant-Man movie.
oh,
Yeah, I kind of like it. Like I watched it and I was surprised. Like I found myself laughing at a few moments that I like actually laughing, not like forced. Haha, that was funny. Like holy shit, okay, that was funny. Laughing like genuine. Um, the story seemed pretty good, and I feel like I've always had kind of this. I have two daughters, so I've always had kind of this connection with Ant-Man and the daughter thing, you know, like
I was
because
going to ask you about that.
so it's always been like a story for me. And Ashley even knows, she's like, well, you love Ant-Man because, you know, she knows the first movie. That's his motivation and everything. And for this movie, the way they called back to things you wouldn't have expected before. It was really heavy CGI, but I don't think they did a bad job of the really heavy CGI. And the story worked really well. This was maybe the best Marvel product I've seen come out in a while. That makes me want to jump into the next portion of the Marvel storyline. Like I've watched it twice.
Wow.
Like, yeah, I've watched it twice. I watched it one night, and then the next night, I really was like, what am I going to put on? I was like, let me watch Quantumania again. And I did. I stayed up till 3 a.m. the first time I watched it.
Damn, dude.
I couldn't even get through Guardians of the Galaxy 2 3 times sober in a theater. Like, or not in a theater, but like in a theater once. And like, so like in this one, I stayed up till 3 a.m, half drunk, watching it. And I was like, okay, this is a good story. So for me, and it was funny that Dalton said that earlier. He was like, Quantumania is horrible. I get it. People say what they want to. For me, at least, I thought it was a pretty good movie. Like, and maybe it's me, maybe because I have separated myself so far from the Marvel universe or from like comic movies, especially that like maybe now I'm ready to jump back in. But I
Yeah,
feel
that
like they
happens.
did a good job with this movie. I like Paul Rudd a lot. I think he's a great actor. I love seeing him in the movies. I love him as his character. I thought the comedy was on point. I thought the CGI looked good, and the story worked. And that's what I want. I want the story to work. So for me, Quantumania was a home run. I really, really enjoyed it. It makes me excited for moving forward in the MCU. What say
All
you,
right.
sir?
Well, I mean, my overall take on it was that it was a good movie. I have definitely not. I have to say it every time. The Infinity Saga was its own thing, right? And so when you come into what Marvel's going to do next, you know, you're basically looking at a scatter plot. You know, none of this makes sense right now because you're basically starting over. The problem is that you're starting over. You're not starting fresh. Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, that was all starting fresh. Now you're starting over.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
That's always harder, right? Because you know you have a past ingrained in your mind somewhere, and Ant-Man is still part of that. But so was Thor in the last Thor movie. Yeah, you're starting to see a bunch of what people have said are going to be the Young Avengers, or what we're going to be doing with that whole plot of everything that they're doing right now. But to me, Doctor Strange kind of fell flat with what they could have done with the Multiverse of Madness.
I agree.
I thought Thor was a fun watch. I'm not saying that it was definitely, it wasn't heavy by any means. It was just a fun watch. I've always liked Chris Hemsworth Thor, and I've always really enjoyed the different levels at which he can bring Thor. You know, now he's he wants to keep it fresh again. You know, he's always said that, he just wants to keep the character evolving. I know that this was a little bit more Ragnarok-y, more than it probably should have been, but I still liked Love and Thunder. It was just a good movie. To me, it was just a fun watch. Ant-Man definitely felt like it was more plot driven to what you're saying, to your point, where you feel like it could actually evolve into something for this next phase. for what, not even the phase that it's in, for the next phase. So I got that from the movie. I had a real good time. Let's talk about, you start off with a daughter who is essentially making trouble.
Right.
She's doing it in a good way, just like her dad was.
She's following her
like
father's footsteps.
Exactly.
They wanted to mirror her father with that. So
I love what they did with Paul Rudd's character. I love, he wrote a book, whatever it's, I keep wanting to say all the small things like it's Blink-182, but whatever the name of the book was.
Always room to grow or something like that. Yeah. That was
Yeah.
the catch line at the end. Yeah. There's always room to grow. Yeah.
And it's so funny just watching him be happy and worried as a parent and, extremely anxious at the end. I loved that scene at the end because it almost sucked you in to where it's like, oh crap. Like, was he trying to believe whether or not it all actually happened, or like, he had that moment of anxiety when he was walking down the street, and like the second time,
did I screw this up? Yeah,
exactly.
And that's going to come back into play. I can almost guarantee it.
Those are the questions you have to really ask at this point,
Mm-hmm.
But his character throughout this was the more or less the supporting one who had the decision to make at the end. He played almost a supporting character the whole time. You had the whole Pym family, which Hank comes with the ants always. His wife just completely, like she saw a ghost whenever this whole thing was mentioned, which I find very strange after the last movie. She came back, she found her way back, and in this movie, she finally starts talking about the stuff that she clearly didn't until they reached the end. But she had all these memories. If you're that scared, that's got to be a plot line. I know you can't dial that into the second movie, not knowing what the third movie is going to be. But there was no mention of that character. There was no mention of the world that's created in the quantum realm. She, yes, was very much just happy to leave and see her family again, but you don't just leave all that stuff behind.
You're right, but I think that gave plot or substance to this story right here, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, imagine this story without, well, you've already known the background of Janet, or is it Janet? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Where you've already known her background and you already know all this stuff. Like this, it just takes away from the story. Like that's this story. And I feel like they did a good job with that, to be honest with you. I mean, like, I could see what you're saying. Like maybe give us a little bit of background for it, but I don't think that would make this story any better if you already knew anything coming in. I think that what I liked about this was, like, I knew Ant-Man, I know his daughter, I know the history behind this, I know the characters they have in the story, but I don't know what's happening next. And that's what's cool, is everything that I know about these characters doesn't have to be what this story's about. Like, there are factions of it that works and that makes it work, but I had no idea what was going to. Well, there are some things I knew that was going to happen. Like, I knew that there was going to be some point where Paul Rudd was going to go full dad mode. He was going to switch from comedian to dad mode, and I knew that was going to happen. I think that the callbacks in this movie were very well done. The only movie in the MCU I haven't seen as of late is the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So I'm interested to see if they kind of follow the same footsteps and they kind of do the same thing. But once again, I was impressed. Like, I watched it twice. It's very rare that I'll watch a Marvel movie back to back. And it's not even, it's very rare that I'll watch a movie back to back. I don't want to say Marvel movie, a movie back to back. But I watched it the next night because it was so good. I was like, I kind of want to see it again to see what happened, I think that my wife and my kids would see this and like it.
Yeah, I think that follows suit for all the Ant-Man movies. Like, I think all the Ant-Man movies are extremely family friendly.
Yeah, they checked all the boxes in this movie, like everything you want. You want a plot going forward? Cool. You want a story from people in the past? Cool. You want a family-friendly movie? Cool. We check all those boxes. And you have the Ant-Man movie and Quantamania.
And you want Paul Rudd as Scott Lang? Got him.
And you know what's funny is I never realized that Quantamania spells Ant-Man in it until they did it in the movie. And I was like, you motherfuckers. I was like, I cannot believe you did that to me. Now I cannot spell Quantamania without looking at Ant-Man. And that's kind of how I spell check it. It's got to say Ant-Man in it. But I don't. overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I
Cassie,
might
what did you
actually
think
watch
about
it
Cassie?
again. What do you think about
Cassie
Cassie?
had she had the actress change, and she was an adult in this one, and then clearly she gets a suit. Like, what do you think about Cassie overall?
I didn't mind her, to be honest with you, because I understood the mindset of where she was coming from. They definitely push hard on the wanting to be like dad, or without realizing it, wanting to be like dad, and I
Yeah.
get that. Okay, it's cool, but I don't mind it. I don't mind if moving forward, if she was a representation of the Ant-Man, the Pym family, and she's in there, like that works. She was cool. Honestly, I have a 16-year-old daughter, so there were some things that I looked at and I was like, okay, seriously, stop. But I have a 16-year-old daughter, so I realize that's the way they are sometimes. Like it's teenagers, it's kids. I'm not daughter. Kids are like that. I don't want people to think I'm sexist. Kids are like that. Um, but she played that well, you know. I like the moment that she had in the car where basically uh, Scott's trying to kind of give her hell about going to jail, and she puts a counterpoint up, and it's like, well, shit, I can't say anything about that because you're right. My daughter does
Mm-hmm.
that to me a few times. Yeah, every once in a while she does it to me where I'll say something, she'll be like, well, what about this? I'm like, well, damn it. Oh, you're becoming an adult. Damn it.
Do as I say.
You're thinking clearly. Ugh. So, but no, I thought she did a good job. I liked her, and I like the suit. I think Ant-Man does a great job with all the suits. So I would cosplay those.
There was something else I was going to say, but I'll say this one instead. The not the dream scene, but the one where it's a whole bunch of him and he's trying to figure his way out of it. Was that when he went? Was that another sub-quantum
That was when he went
sub-quantum
down
moment?
to. That was when he went down to the sub Quantamania or whatever it was to recharge the actual jump starter or whatever it was that would
Yes.
jump start the ship for oh boy. We forgot to talk about him
Oh,
too.
that's what I was going to talk about. Like,
Yeah,
what do you
we can
think
talk about him
about
too.
Janet getting some side piece action from this crazy ass Kang, and never mentioning that? Like what happens in the quantum realm stays in the quantum realm. Apparently,
I mean, she's not wrong.
okay.
Like
I'm
I
not
can't get
saying she
mad at
is.
her. Like honestly, like okay, if you're trapped in a realm that you probably know you're never going to get out of again, and it's been in her mind 30 years. What are you gonna do? Like seriously, like what are you gonna do? Like you gotta,
Quantum babies.
yeah, exactly. So I'm not mad at it. Yeah.
Talk about all. Okay, something I did butt up against was the plethora of characters and alien species style things that exist in the quantum realm, right? Because I've been brought up in a generation that had microscopes. And I'm not saying that you can see all of this stuff in a microscope. I'm just saying the things that you do see in a microscope aren't humanoid or aren't this or aren't that. But you got to see the I thought it was a wonderful joke, and Sarah and I were making it after we saw it, was like, well, how many holes do you have? And you
That was
sit
a
there
good
and you have to
joke.
stop and you have to count it, right? You're like,
Yeah.
well, shit, hold on a
I
second.
did have to count. I was like, wait a second, do I have 7 holes? Like seriously? Yeah.
And so you have all of these types of people, not to mention other human type people, to include the likes of Bill Murray.
Oh,
How
which I
did you
wanted to bring
take
up.
all of that? How did you take all the species that they introduced here?
It was pretty cool. Look, this is the cool thing about where they're at right now is there's no rules. It's kind of like we were talking about with Dalton and Wells earlier. Is when you go undersea, there's not really a lot of rules because nobody can say no, that's not real because you don't know.
Yep.
They did go a little extreme with some things, but it's okay because at least it looked good. I liked the idea of drinking the goo and understanding the language. That was cool how
I
they
did
did
like that
that.
too.
And then I did definitely want to mention to or talk to you about your boy because I know you love Bill Murray being in this. And Bill Murray was 100% Bill Murray in this movie.
Very much so.
Like he played the role that he plays perfectly in this movie. I thought he did a good job. Is he the side piece for Janet?
It sure seemed like she followed him for a while,
Okay.
or made some sort of deal. It seemed like those business deals turned into late night business deals, and I am a little unclear on at what point
Late night business
she
deal.
met
I like you said that.
she met King, and things went all a little screwy. But if there was that much of a lifespan for her down there, then Lord knows, she. I mean, think about how much your life has changed in 30 years, and what she was living down there in 30 years. So,
Bro, are you kidding me? 30 years ago,
which is
you were asking me to come over to your house and ride bikes down the street. Of course, my life
not a
changed.
euphemism, people.
Crazy. Not a euphemism.
Very,
That's
very
right.
literal.
That's right.
No, it's almost like what I get slightly confused about is the whole idea of Scott Lang. All right, so what we had was Infinity War.
Mhm.
And then in between Infinity War, you had Captain Marvel, but did you have the second Ant-Man then?
No, the second Ant-Man came out before Infinity War.
Okay,
Because that
the
was when
end
Scott Lang
scene,
got trapped in the quantum realm, which set him up to be coming out of the quantum realm
but
to
in
be the
the
savior.
post-credit scene or mid-credit scene of the second Ant-Man movie was when he went into the quantum realm through the little van generator thing that Hank
Right.
Pym made,
Mhm.
and then that's when he got trapped.
Mhm. Because that was when the snap happened, and that was when
Was that
Samuel
before
Jackson.
or after Infinity War? That's why I asked that. I have to go back and look
That was
because
before.
they got dusted in that.
Ooh, that was happening at the moment of.
That's
Had
what
to
I'm
have been.
saying.
Had to have been at the moment of. Then you're
Well,
right.
that happened. The
Yeah.
post or mid post credit scene, whichever one it was, that scene had to take place during the snap. But when did the movie come out? That's what I need to go back and double check.
Well, it had to have been before. Like how far before can be determined, but the movie had to have happened before because you couldn't have had the movie after he was snapped. Right?
Well, we'll talk about this, and I'll look it up as I'm trying to make my point. My
All
point for this whole thing is that when Scott Lang went into the quantum verse or quantum realm, he said that he was there for how long? 5 seconds.
5 seconds. Okay.
What was 5 seconds for him
Was
was
5
5
years.
years for everyone else.
Mhm.
So, what I have to ask
Oh, I
is
see
if
where you're
she's
going.
been down there.
I see where you're going. Oh, damn it, Ross.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Good.
Ant-Man and the Wasp came out in 2018, and it came out in, what is the specific date? Let's see, release date.
So what you're saying is it's weird that
July
Janet was down there
6th.
for 30 years and it was an actual 30 years for her. Whereas for Ant-Man, he was down there for 5 seconds and it was 5 years for him.
Well,
You're right. So it should have been, what, 3 times 3? Should have been 900 years for her. Is that what we're saying?
Ant-Man came out after Infinity War, the second Ant-Man.
90 years for her. Ant-Man came out. Well, it came out after.
Yeah.
But it was that coming out when it came out and when it was like the timing it was set and was different.
Well, the movie took place before the events of Infinity War, but that credit scene was meant for the way to weasel him into Infinity War.
Okay. But no, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're poking holes, man. You're sawing off the branch.
I'm not trying to poke holes. What I'm trying to say is I'm not sure, because it's been a while since I've seen the movie, and I've only seen the movie once. I did not rewatch it since it's been streaming. Is where does that lie and where does that fall? And I'm okay with whatever explanation they want to give me as long as it's not some straight bullshit. I just want to make sure that like it does fall in line with the rest of it. To my point earlier that I was trying to make with what was the first thing that I said? I don't have a problem with. I have to come back to it. I can't remember exactly what I was trying. The point I was trying to make.
You're good.
Too many things.
Yeah, I really got nothing else about this movie.
Kang.
Okay. We'll talk about Kang. I like it. I like Kang as a character. I like him as being a bad guy in this, like the next big Thanos. I like that. And honestly, I didn't like it until I saw the very end scene. And when I saw the very end scene and then I saw the post-credit scene, I was like, okay, this is starting to make sense. Because it has the end scene where there are okay, so Kang is the one Kang in this movie was the one who was exiled, right? From a group of other Kangs. Okay.
From different verses.
From different verses, right, which are all different. Okay. And throughout this movie, he's letting you know that like my way is the right way. These guys' way is not the wrong way. It's the wrong way. And throughout the whole movie, you think, okay, you're just a tyrant, and that's all you think. But then it gets towards the end, and it's like, was Kang right? Like, holy shit, was he the good guy? And that brings it back to that point with Scott Lang at the end. Like, holy shit, did I just fuck up? So it that's why I said it makes me interested to see where they're going in the MCU in the future, because now I've seen an entire Coliseum full of these Kangs, a bunch of different ones, and they all have different motives, it looks like. So what was the reason they exiled him? Like, what reason could it be they exiled him?
Oh, if he was that bad, right? You know, your mind, your imagination is the only limitation. Because, you know, that is what is best about these types of villains when they are given a platform to stand on that's like could go either way. Like, it's bad, but, you know, from a certain point of view, you know, like it depends on what you're really trying to say here.
Thanos is not wrong. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta be real for a moment. And if he's no longer gonna play King, does that post credit scene give you the? Does it make it okay if he doesn't come back to play King?
Well, is that official? He is not coming back to play Kang?
It's not official, but I mean, you know, all signs are pointing in the direction. So
yeah, okay. I don't know, man. Like, as long as they fill the role with a good actor, somebody who can, because I thought Jonathan Majors, is that his name? I thought he did a great job. I really did. It was an amazing job. I thought the acting was phenomenal. I could see him as that character, no problem. It's one of those things. It's like they just got to fill the role well. It's like the Don Cheadle and what's his name, who played Rhodey in the first Iron Man movie.
Oh yeah.
As long as you replace the role well, I don't mind, because I get it. I totally get everything that happened. Well, I don't know all the details, but I understand what I've read about what happened, and I understand the viewpoint of where they want to go. So whatever they decide to do is what they decide to do. I just need a good guy in that role. I need a good actor, somebody who can portray, somebody who instills fear in me, because that's what this guy did. Like, I'm watching this movie, I'm like, man, what is his limit? Like, what is his end game?
Yeah,
that's the big thing. I don't know what his end game is. So,
well, you have you know, Kang is a character that I think it was well pulled off thanks to Jonathan Majors, but also more importantly, the VFX really did not take you out of his character. You know, like the blue shield face, you didn't get yanked out of it through not bad VFX, but bad characterization, I guess. Like physical, what you can see characterization wise. You know, it pretty much came true that we do this, and you know, I can tell you these people's names all the time. You know,
who are you talking about?
I'm just gonna stick. I'm gonna stick back to it because I was gonna make a point. Like, Kang has always been the character that, like he just said, there's so many variants of him, but what you are really hoping for is that it can ground you with one face, one character, and they were trying to do that. You know, I'm still very interested to see, and they may do reshoots or something for the Loki show, but I'm interested to see how much they're going to stick with that. I think they've slowly also been holding on to, you know, let's figure out what's really going on, and you know where we're going to land with Majors and everything else. But the powerfulness of the Kang character is going to come through you understanding how bad that one person is, and you can connect that in your brain to that face.
Right.
So I worry that, like take Adam Driver, right? So he's going to play Mr. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still kind of on the fence because I really thought he would play a fantastic Doom. And Doom is the one that everyone really wants to see come to screen. But, like I was connecting that in my brain. I'm like, that could be Doom. And he could really do something evil, not if he went like Kylo evil, but if he went like whatever else he has in his repertoire of, acting abilities. Majors could, I really saw a dark side of him in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Not one that I haven't seen before, but he's a really, really good actor.
Agreed.
In all the things I've seen him in. I don't know if you watched, he was in the, he was in the HBO show, the old book. I have to go back and look at it. Who else did Majors play? Was he in the, what's the smiley face movie that came out forever ago? The one with the pen with the blood drop.
Oh God.
You know what I'm talking about. See, this is what happens when you work countless hours throughout the week and you're like, oh, I got stuff to talk about. And then you're like, man, I haven't watched anything at all this week.
I mean, I could blame it on a few other things, but yeah, it's definitely what happens whenever you do that. Yeah.
Warning.
Let's see. He was in Creed 3, Quantamania, Devotion, Loki, Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft was good. Watchmen was the one I was thinking of. Thank you. Kev's got my back for thinking about it.
He was in The Watchmen? Oh, the show.
The show.
Not the movie. Okay.
No.
Okay. That makes sense. Who was he in The Watchmen?
Oh, he played... Man, I want to say... I don't know who I want to say, but it was not him.
Let's see. Because it's not on his IMDb.
That was a show I was thinking of. It may not have been him. I may have been thinking of the other guy. I know I can't picture his name either. We're getting off on a tangent of things that I can't remember.
We are. No, look, I thought Jonathan Majors did a good job. I like him as Kang. I like the idea of Kang as the guy being the big bad going forward. It's cool. I've seen an establishment here, and I'm excited for MCU again. And like I said, I don't know if it's a matter of I've spent so much time separating myself from what's going on to jumping back in now, but this worked for me, man. Like Quantamania worked for me. So, ooh,
that's good. I'm glad that you liked it.
Damn it, I spelled it wrong. It's all right.
I think that if you like Quantumania, I do think that you'll like Guardians. I know that you didn't like the second one, and I know that you're partial to animals, and the third Guardians has some scenes that can be not great.
It's okay. I also kill animals and eat them. So like I do love animals, but I also am a human, and I realize that I kill animals and eat them. So I have no problem going outside right now.
This is a little less hunting, a little bit more like Toy Story, Andy's Toys situation.
Got you throwing toys in a furnace.
Something like that.
You. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. Give it a shot whenever it comes out. Clearly, let's see. Ant-Man came out in February, I think. So we are currently in May. You'll have another 3 months at least before Guardians probably drops.
Cool deal.
You got that to look forward to.
Of course. Yeah, you always got something to look forward to with the MCU. I'm not going to lie. Like, even if you don't like some of the directions they've gone with certain things, like this made me super excited for Loki. Like the final scene, I was like, oh, Owen Wilson.
Loki's October, man.
Like I want to see Loki. I'm so excited for it. So that's what they want to do. That's the point of that, and they did a good job.
Yeah,
I'm still in the MCU. I was never fully out. I'm still in the MCU, and I'm excited to see where they go. So. All right, that's Quantumania. Unless you got anything else to say,
there's probably a whole lot that I'm missing, but you know what?
Oh, yeah.
We'll probably get reflection on it at some point.
We're going to refresh again when Sarah comes back next week. So, okay. Did you watch Shazam?
I did.
Okay. I know you said you showed it to me and said you were going to. I watched it today. Okay. Let's talk about it then. Let's talk about Shazam. Then we'll do Dungeons and Dragons. You did not go see this in theaters. Yes. Start off.
I did not go see it in theaters. I
Was it
did
because
not-
you didn't think it was going to be good, or just we're adults and sometimes we can't make it?
Well, I'll circle back around to this at the end, but
Okay.
oops, I'm going to start off right now by saying that, when you tell me that, whatever universe that you're trying to create is about done, I'm kind of on the fence about whether or not I want to go see something.
Right.
Black Adam, saw it in theaters. Wasn't really happy that I saw it in theater. Right?
Agreed. I'm
And
kind of mad. I'm kind of mad I spent the money for that. Yeah.
when I watched the first Shazam, I thought that was a good movie, right? Like, I mean, like it was not something I'm going to go back and rewatch probably ever again. And this definitely proved to the fact that I probably should have beforehand because, I was having trouble remembering certain parts of it. But Shazam is a family movie. Not only is it a family movie, it's a movie about family. And I've watched countless things this week that were about family because I was catching up on the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah,
So
it's
my
all
whole
about
week has
family.
been family,
Yeah.
family, family. Let's just say that I watched this movie and I didn't realize, even after sending you the picture, that it was going to be on Max, not HBO Max, which
Which fucked me
talk
up, by
about
the way.
that
We'll talk
later.
about that in a minute. Yeah, that totally fucked me up.
I didn't realize till the very end of this movie that it was called Fury of the Gods. I had forgotten that fact. I couldn't even remember the name of the movie. And then
Wow,
when it
okay.
popped up at the end, that I was like, oh, yeah, Fury of the Gods. That makes sense. I'm like, it's a little on the nose. Movie itself, overall, interesting watch. I watched it while working out. I didn't really have I was finding myself pausing this movie because the action scenes would come up. I'm like, I kind of want to see the action scenes, at least see, what the CG and everything else was about. The story was, all right, it was like a really bland sentence written in cursive. It was only fancy because of the way that it looked, I think. I didn't think the story was all that extreme. It was very much many things that we've seen before, but it was tastefully done, right? Like it was, you had the aspect of the kids. I love the age ranges all the way down to the little girl, that it helps you see things from different points of view. You got a drunken sister, you got another one that's like, sticking Skittles in her pockets to fuck with her. Like there's so much that's happening. Like there's such a wide gamut of jokes and things that you can relate to, because it's like, you can't tell a kid that, or,
Right.
She's so gullible and cute. There's so many different ways that you can see points of view in this movie that were really good.
Yeah, I agree. I watched this one. I didn't want to go see the second Shazam in theaters. I didn't want to go see it. I didn't get a chance. Wasn't dying to go see it, so I didn't go see it because I didn't have the opportunity to. But that for me was mainly because of the first Shazam movie. Now, I know Shazam for me is like, when I talk to people, it's crazy. It's like it's opposite ends of the spectrum. I have some people that love the first Shazam movie, think it is the best DC movie out there, and that's cool. I can respect that. That's your opinion, no problem. I know some people who hate it. I'm kind of right in the middle. I like the first Shazam movie, but it wasn't great. For me, this one was way better than the first one. Like, I enjoyed this movie way more than the first one. I had a good time. I laughed. I genuinely laughed at a few moments. The kid who plays Freddy has got acting chops.
He does.
This kid is a comedian and he has acting chops. Like, this guy can really do some stuff in the future. I hope that he does, because for me, he was the main part of this movie for the majority of it. I think the guy who played the kid who plays the Billy Batson is nowhere near this kid's acting chops. Like, and I think they realized that, and that's why they made. You saw what? Maybe 2 minutes of on screen with Billy Batson, and I get it.
And
I get it. You want Zachary Levi in there. I get it. But the entire time this kid who's playing Freddy is on screen, I'm loving it. Every single scene, every single joke, everything he does, I'm like, yeah, that works. I like that. This would be a guy to hang out with right there. I like that kid. The family aspect was definitely there. There are a few moments, of course, when you're watching this movie where you kind of feel like, oh, that's a little tug at my heart. I kind of want to tear up a little bit, which is what you want in a movie like this. The CGI worked for me. I would watch this movie 100 times over before I watched the first one. to be honest with you. Like,
Really?
I think this one was that much better than the first one. Now, it wasn't a perfect movie. It, like, I'm not saying, like, I'm not going out right now and telling everybody you've got to see this movie, but it was a good movie, and I feel like it was better than the first movie. I like the villains in this movie better than the first movie. I like the CGI. I like the fact they had minotaurs and unicorns and all that stuff in this movie better than the 7 deadly sins in the last movie. Like, it didn't make sense. Didn't look good to me. I enjoyed it, man. I thought that there were a few parts here and there where they hiccuped a little bit, and I could see that. If Sarah hadn't told me beforehand that the Wonder Woman thing was coming up at the end, which, spoilers, by the way, Wonder Woman's in this movie, I would have never known, and that would have been an insane shock for me. Like, I knew at some point in time it was coming. And when I saw one
Even after
obscure,
that
I was like,
midpoint?
okay. Huh?
Even after that midpoint where you get
Well, but that was
Wonder
like
Woman with the wizard's face?
yeah, but that was like the Superman scene. If I'd have seen that in theaters, I wouldn't have thought, because that was a dream sequence, I wouldn't have thought she was going to show up in this movie. So, like, I don't mind being spoiled about that, but had I not known about that, I would have been insanely shocked that happened. And the fact that that was there makes it that much different. Like, this movie for me worked. I kind of want to watch it with Ashley, to be honest with her. When she gets home, I kind of be like, hey, check this movie out. I think she'll like it. My kids might like it.
She probably will.
Yeah. Like it's got really funny parts. Just, I thought a really well story told. And honestly, I couldn't, you're right. I probably should have watched the first movie again before I came back and watched this one, because I couldn't remember the whole staff thing and how it got broken. But then they show you that in the movie, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. I see that. I get it. Even if I didn't see the last movie, I remember that scene right there. Cool. So it worked for me.
There's so much kid stuff in this, like where you start off in like the bridge scene, which, they're calling them the Philly, what do they call them? The Philly fiascos.
Fiascos, yeah.
And so, you got all these kids running around as superheroes in their matching suits. And, you start off with Shazam saving the car. And it's like, no way, did I just save you to this song? And it's, I need a hero. That bridge is collapsing and they're trying their best, but it was like a wreck, like it was a wreck of a good time. Like we were in the right place to save all these people, but like we did it in such a bad way. But I think what really works with this movie is the points that they're trying to get across, with, you start off with Billy trying to figure out who he is, and, the family dynamic not really meshing very well. They're all really well continued throughout the plot of this story. And I don't want to say they hit you over the head with it because they tell you what the problem is, but you're watching it unfold in a manner to, you're like, okay, like they're actually working towards a resolution with these problems. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't feel like you're being taken away from it. To your point about the Freddy's, that kid is a great actor, yes. I don't think they needed Billy in this film. They needed Shazam because, he was hiding behind Shazam as, that was his shield. That was his armor, really, what the whole point was. And Freddy was the problem. As much as there were villains in this, Freddy was the actual problem. He's the one that he would go out and do his own thing and not be a part of the family dynamic. And he just got, I want to say, really lucky, but he didn't. He got really unlucky in some parts of this film. Yeah, he did get lucky at the end. I don't know really how to take this movie to truly discuss it. You have Helen Mirren, you have Lucy Liu, which, okay, Helen Mirren, the first scene with her, I'm looking at her face, I'm like, what the fuck is up with these VFX? Like, what is happening right here?
Yeah.
Part of her face looks like she, like she took care of like her skin in this area, and she's like all wrinkled like in everywhere else. I'm like, what are they trying to smooth her over? Like, what's going on? But I also think that she is contractually obligated to have her name in the credits to be at the very end, and it either says and Helen Mirren or with Helen Mirren, because I swear everything that I've ever watched with her in it in the past decade has her as one of the and or with characters, never like in the main cast or credits.
I want my name to come up, but nobody's gonna see it.
Yeah, no, it's like that. She wants to be the exclamation point, is what she wants to be. Which, don't get me wrong, the woman has deserved it.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
woman has done her time and has been acting for decades. I love the scene. I love the fact that they take powers and give powers, and it's a real struggle back and forth in this.
Hmm.
Um, I hated to love the Skittles scene,
I
and
did too.
then they
I
came
did
back
too.
out. They came back out with her riding that
Rainbow
unicorn, and it's
motherfucker.
yeah. I'm like, I hate to love this, but I think that's what makes a really good, fun-filled family comic book movie. Like that's how it works. There's bits of this that you have to really love to hate or hate to love.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, that's one of the things I loved about this movie is at the very beginning, the Pedro stuff.
Mhm.
Like, as soon as the whole gay thing comes up, I was like, oh, they're gonna hit me over the head with this. And I don't mind anybody who's gay. Just so I have like it's fine. It's no problem if you want to be like no problem at all. But I thought they were gonna start to hit me over the head with it, and they didn't. They
No, real
represented it.
simple.
They
Yep.
represented it very well, like a number of times, and didn't hit you over the head with it. And I was like, cool. Oh, they did a good job of that. I like that. Okay, cool. That works for me. So I actually really, really, that was kind of refreshing that I wasn't going to be beat in the face with something, and and understood and enjoyed and totally accepted what was going on. I was like, okay, cool. So that's where we're going with this character. No problem. I thought that I thought Darla was great. Whoever the actress is who plays her as an adult, is you basically got to tell her like, look, you're going to be a, oh my gosh, what is going on? Hey,
Apparently, someone else likes Darla.
yeah, she does. You're basically going to be a adult kid, and whoever the actress was who played her did a great job of that. Like
Yeah.
you're a kid in an adult's body. So
Steve.
yeah, I love Steve too. We got to talk about that. Hang on one second. I got to get her.
I have to say before we even get to that point, I want to say something about some of the other VFX. Let's talk. I gotta talk about the flying, man. There is something about Black Adam in this movie that I feel like we've reached an era to where it's very era-ish. Like we're in a moment to where whatever the company that is doing or handling the VFX currently for these films, the way that they're showing and portraying flying, it looks bad to me. And I don't know what it is that looks bad. Maybe it's because they look like they're standing in a way to where, their assholes so tightly puckered, but that cape is just going behind them. And you're like, what is happening? Like, what are you supposed to be
I know what
happy
it
that you're
is.
flying?
I know what it is.
What is it?
You saw Henry Cavill as Superman flying, and you were like, "That's perfection.
That's how you do it.
That's
Yeah.
perfection right there. Like that's it." And nobody else is going to do that as well. So
I cannot disagree with that point.
yeah, you saw Henry Cavill, and you're like, "Yep, that's how a man flies right there. Period. All there is to it. That is perfection." No, I think a lot of that, especially with the Black Adam, has to do with the cape. I think that it's hard to make a character
fair.
look good and fly without a cape. I'm sorry. It sounds weird, but you gotta have a cape. Black Adam just did not look good flying. And once again, it made me wonder, why are his legs so big if he never walks?
Yeah.
Like you don't even walk and your legs are that big. There's no way. But then again, we never see superheroes work out except for Venom. He's the only guy you ever see work out. But look, White Chocolate Express says The Rock is in this movie. No, he's not in this movie. We're just referring to how DC has done with flying characters.
The bad taste is just still on our palate.
Yeah, exactly. They did a very, very bad job with the way they made The Rock fly. And some of the characters in this, and I can agree with you with that. Some of the characters look kind of wonky. But once again, I'm comparing it to Henry Cavill, Man of Steel, and that movie is damn near perfection. So it's hard to replicate that. Even though it shouldn't be. You have the formula. It shouldn't be hard to replicate it, Maybe it's because Henry Cavill looks so good in that suit. That's what it is.
You did hear they have another season. They renewed the other show he's in, The Witcher, for another season, even though he won't be in it.
Right. It's Hemsworth brother, right? Yeah, I'll watch it.
But no. They already had what they said was the third season is coming out. I think the third season is supposed to drop in June, at the end of June, and then they renewed it for a fourth season, which wasn't going to have him in it, and then they just renewed it for a fifth season. So, side tangent on that one.
So is the Hemsworth brother playing the exact same character? He's playing Gerald?
I don't think so.
Gerald?
I think he's supposed to be playing maybe another one. I'm not sure though. I'm muddy on all of the details. I've read it a couple times, but that's been forever ago.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do. They could make or break that series with that, to be honest with you.
True.
They really could.
I like Freddy's shirt. I don't know if you noticed the Batman and Robin reference.
I didn't.
Freddy's shirt he was wearing, it had a bat on it, and the bat had a yellow belt, and then it had the Robin behind him, which was a Robin bird. So that was pretty good.
Which is the whole Captain Every Power Jr. thing.
Yeah.
They're talking about, which I love the Captain Every Power. That was awesome.
Such a kid name.
They did a great job of portraying kids. I have teenagers right now who have their minds in the right mindset, but have no fucking idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to tell my kids that so many times. Look, what you're saying is right. You're absolutely right. You have the right heart. But you were so fucking wrong in what you're saying. Like, I get it, but you just don't understand how the world works, and you'll get that with experience. And you know, 15 years ago, I would have said, me saying this, I'm a dumbass. But now, no, there's plenty of things you don't know in the world that
yes,
you're going to learn.
The rules that you're explaining are perfect. You understand how the game is played, but sir, this is a fucking bathroom.
Right.
You are in the wrong arena.
Right. There you go. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. But yeah, man, I like this movie. I'll probably see if Ashley and the family wants to watch it again, because I think the family would like it.
I'll point out a few things real fast. I'm going to go in backwards order. The Peacemaker, the villain from the first film was in the post-credit scene. So they're going to bring him back. Whoop-de-doo, did not care at all. The mid-credit scene was the Peacemaker duo, the blonde chick and the nerdy dude with the glasses, and they went to go find Billy Batson. So who knows where that's going to stem from. I am interested in the next season of Peacemaker. I do want to see that. Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman comes back, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Gal Gadot.
I'm just going to go ahead and say this. There is no one like Gal Gadot to come back and put the fire back in your staff. You know, she came back and made all of the dreams come true.
The only issue I have with it is your issue, like you were saying. This is a dead universe.
That goes to my last point.
Stop teasing me. Stop teasing me, because I want everything in the DC in the Snyderverse except for Ezra Miller as Flash. Give me everything except for that, and I'm good, and I'm totally fine going forward. But they're not going to, and it's cool. I've accepted that, but stop pushing it down my throat, because there could be so many good things. So many good things. Like they even call Shazam Captain Marvel in this movie, you know, which is great. But you're not giving me that. So stop toying with me. I want to see where they're going forward with Flash, and I'm kind of scared, to be honest with you, because I'm kind of happy where I was with the DC universe.
Really?
I know. Well, a lot of people aren't, but I loved the Snyderverse, and maybe we'll see that in comics or TV one day. But if this is the direction they're going forward, I feel like I can like the DC moving in this direction. I liked this movie. Everything is going to be based on the Flash, though. Like, this is a cool movie, but I'm going to have to totally forget about it after the Flash, I feel. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, my final point is going to kind of add some of those things together. How do you feel about this being the last Snyderverse era movie?
I mean, like I said, I love the universe. I don't think I personally I wouldn't consider it the last Snyderverse era movie because Ben Affleck is in the next Flash movie. I think that's the end of the Snyderverse is this next Flashpoint movie. Um, but I don't mind it because let's put it this way: of the stuff I've seen in the Snyderverse, it's not my least favorite. I would watch this over the first one. I would watch this over Black Adam. I would watch this over the first Suicide Squad, maybe the director's cut. There's a lot of movies I watch this over. Well, not a lot, a few movies I watch this over. But it's not the worst of the DCEU, at least the Snyderverse DCEU. And I don't mind it being the end because I've known for a while it's going to end. Like I've known this has been in the shoot, and I've known that the Snyderverse is over for a long time. That's helped. Had I not known that, had they just come out with this movie and then in 9 months said, "Hey, we're doing a Flashpoint and we're changing everything," it would have shocked me. But I've known this going in that this is the swan song, so it didn't bother me that much. If they'd have crashed it or like done a terrible job with this movie, I would have been upset. But I feel like this is a pretty good movie. I liked it better than the first one. So
You mentioned Ben Affleck as Batman, and
yeah.
I started thinking about The Flash, and I started thinking about, do you remember, I've always been a soundtrack guy, the Batman and Robin soundtrack had the Smashing Pumpkins did 2 songs, or at least 2 songs on that.
The end, or the ending, the end is the beginning is the end, and the beginning is the end is the beginning. Yeah,
that's correct.
Yep.
And that's almost like what that movie's going to be.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh, that is so cool that you and I know that right there. Because I remember you and I bought that album. We're listening to it. Yep, and we loved Smashing Pumpkins at that time. So yeah, still do. Yeah, I agree. But yeah,
man. It's Shazam's a movie. It's a good movie, and you know what? I'm not saying that it was really it wasn't a jab. I just want to know what you would think about it as the end of the Snyderverse, and you could call the Flash, the true end or whatever. And I don't think that the Snyderverse has really gone past what he was trying to tell with his Justice League movie. Really, he unfortunately fell out of events for a while, but his hands were tied early on.
He had a lot going on. Yeah.
And so with where we ended up, what we have now, I guess maybe a better way of saying it, versus what could have been, it's only kind of like a way to say it.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm interested to see where any of these characters will show up in the aftermath, because the Flash really is a big point. I once again will go on record saying it, not sure if it will actually happen until it happens, and I'm gonna buy tickets. I don't know if you're gonna buy tickets. I'm gonna buy tickets soon. Yeah. I'm gonna want to see it. I really hate saying that I really want to see a movie with that asshole Ezra Miller in it.
Yeah, I do too, but I got to see it. There's no other way to see it without him in it. Which brings me to that point. Yeah, I'm definitely buying tickets probably tomorrow, the next day or two. I was going to buy them tonight, but it's getting kind of late, and I don't.
If you can buy tickets in the next hour and 22 minutes on the East Coast, you get 1,000, maybe it's 500 or 1,000 extra Regal points if you go see it in the Regal movie theater.
No, I'm definitely going to the Grand. Like the Grand is superior to everything else around here. Well, actually, Regal's got a pretty good theater in High Point. The AMC Regal in High Point is pretty good, but the Grand in
Greensboro's good too.
Yeah, Greensboro's good too, but the Grand in Winston is like by far for me like the supreme theater there is to go to. It's everything you want.
It's around the corner.
And it's around the corner, exactly. So, but I'll probably be buying tickets the next day or two. I'll talk to you, Ross, if you want to come with me. I know that I told my friend Steve that I would take him to go see this movie. I asked him if he wanted to come see it with me, but I'll buy three tickets if you want to go Check it out.
Yeah, you owe me
I'm
one.
going to see it that Thursday. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to see it opening night that Thursday.
I tried to get the IMAX tickets for Tuesday, and I guess they're just not in our area because I didn't see it pop up.
Yeah.
Is it Tuesday? Maybe it might have been Monday.
Kev says he just wants to see Michael Keaton. Okay, I do too. Look, let me just put this out here. Okay, Michael Keaton's a great Batman, and it's cool to see him again. Come on, man. Like, why is everybody getting such big boners for Michael Keaton coming back as Batman?
Don't even. No, you cannot say that. It's nostalgia. It's on everyone's face, on the
That's
things that they
fine.
love. You
Okay.
can't say that. You
No.
have things that you die on that
I
hill
can ask the
for.
question, and you're answering
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you're answering it right here. It's nostalgia. Okay, cool. I get that. I guess for me, it was just like I liked the Batman movies growing up, and I thought they were fantastic Batman movies. But I also couldn't even watch the first one when I was younger. My parents made me wait until I was older.
That's why I say you're probably too early for it.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, let's move on. You know what? I'm not even worried about news right now. We got one more movie, and then I'm probably good for the night.
I do have to say one thing. Well, I have two things about news, but I'll make it
No,
very
talk
quick. So
news.
you go ahead.
Well, let's finish movies, and then we'll
finish
do
your
news.
movies. Yeah.
D&D. D&D, baby. This is a game. I've gotten into dice and card games in the last few months pretty good, and I really want to have a guy who's going to build a universe, I guess, with the D&D, and we're going to have a night playing D&D. But this movie for me was what Willow tried to be. This is what I should have felt with Willow. Like, I have no connection to D&D whatsoever. But what I felt in this movie was what I felt I should have felt like during Willow. And they did it right, and Willow did it wrong. Period. That's all there is to it. I like, is it Chris Pine?
Yeah.
I like Chris Pine. Great actor. He did a good job in this movie. I don't know the girl from the Fast and the Furious. I know she's from many other things. Yeah, but that's the thing I know her from. I just liked the way this movie ran. Like, it kept me interested the whole time. There was pretty good CGI. It wasn't fantastic, but it was okay. Nothing that threw me off. And, it kept me interested. I was intrigued the entire time when I watched this movie. And if I can be into the movie the entire time, that's a good sign.
Good points. I think what any person that knows a little bit about Dungeons and Dragons really can understand is that it starts off almost with like, a short person, a hairy beast, and a wizard walk into a bar, right? It's almost like it's like that's how it starts off, right? And so you get your party, and your party consists of all these weird different people, and not only do they consist of different people, but you don't know what the powers are. You could start off super weak, you could be super strong.
Mm-hmm.
I totally bought that with what they did. When they got their party together, it worked out for me. I wanted to go see this movie in theaters. I missed it. Things were busy in my life. I didn't get a chance to go see it. Waited for it to come out on streaming. You actually told me it was on streaming before I even knew about it. I'm like, fuck yeah, like watching that right now. Love the trailers. Loved the aspects that I saw before watching it. Went into it knowing that I was probably going to enjoy it. Not disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Not disappointed at all.
Yeah, I agree. I went into it not expecting a lot, and I came out enjoying every bit of it. And I feel like you could honestly make 2 or 3 more of these, and I'd be totally fine with that. Like, the way they did this was great. I kind of the way I put D&D is I kind of put it on like the Halo, Willow, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Like, that's kind of the level of like fandom I put it on for me, if I could stack that. And this was better than all of that. Like, this is better than Willow. It was better than Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Like, it was right up there, and I was like, wow, okay. I would watch it again. And in fact, I might. I think that Ashley, my wife, would love this movie. Well, it's got Chris Pine in it. Of course, she probably would. But, like, I think she would really like this movie. Like, it's not even for, the actors in it. The storytelling is great. It's a really good story. Like, you're invested in the story the entire time. I have an issue with movies that I know exactly what's going to happen next. And sometimes I get it. I can see in the first scene something that's going to come back in the third scene, and I get that. That's cool. That's good story writing, but I can recognize that. I don't like being able to predict the entire movie. And this was not one that I did that with. Like, it left me in places that I wouldn't expect at the end, and it took me to places that I didn't think I was going during the movie. And the entire time I was there for the ride. I really enjoyed it.
Hugh Grant as the bad guy
Yes.
was very much Shrek, Lord Farquaad. You know, I don't know if you remember much about Shrek.
I do. I love Shrek. Yeah.
But there's many moments where I'm like, this dude is just being like an asshole. Like he is being an asshole for fun. Like that's what he's doing. Like that's what his job is for himself right now. Like all of this is a game to him. Why? Because he has a red witch in his pocket, and that red witch can do whatever he wants. The way that they tied the aspects of all of the things that were going on in this movie into a bow, great. I mean,
Yeah.
how many movies do you watch that everything fits so nicely in the end? You know, like I watch, it's funny because, you know, we watch things like we've seen Tarantino movies where he tries to splice it up. And so that, you know, when you reach a certain point in the movie, you see all of the threads coming together. We watch movies that have countless, I guess not movies, universes that have countless movies in those universes that kind of do these same things. And when you see all these pieces come together, it's fantastic. This movie did it in like 2 hours.
Yeah. They did. Yeah, it's a good story.
Right? Yeah.
Mm.
Well, and
Well,
so it was there very much that was left unsaid, and there was all of the things that needed to be accomplished got accomplished. And it didn't feel like it was a task, and it didn't feel like, you know, whereas you'd say like you weren't beat over the head with anything. Like it all came, the flow was very natural in the movie. And that's what I loved about the trailers, because it seemed like whatever they were trying to do was going to make sense. I'll give you, this is a completely bad and off the wall example, but the new trailer for that Barbie movie dropped yesterday. I've never
that came
understood
out
why.
today, didn't it?
I don't know if it came out
I
today,
think the
but
actual
I know a
movie came out
trailer
today.
dropped yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And so I've been watching this and I'm like, what are they doing? Why this, and what are they doing with it? And I watched this trailer, I'm like, oh, okay. When I watched Dungeons and Dragons trailer, I'm like, I'm fucking on board. Like
Yeah.
this is a ride. Like this looks like a fun ride.
Mhm.
They're telling me roughly what's going to happen. And if you know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, it's a quest. It's always a quest. And it looked like that in the trailer, and they did not disappoint in the movie. I go back to saying that again. It was very much I was happily pleased. When you said that this goes above Rings of Power and Willow for you, I think this was if you were to average all of those types of movies, especially, or shows and everything else, what was it? A Wheel of Time, and like all these things that I see that are kind of era based and very much like in that realm.
Mhm.
This was the perfect average.
Yeah.
Of what all of that stuff should have been.
Yeah, I agree. Like they did such a good job of, once again, making me feel involved in the story. Like, there are a bunch of movies where I watch, or shows where I watch, where I'm at certain points in times, I just don't care to pay attention. I kind of wanted to know what was going to happen in this movie next, because it's a good story. You brought up Shrek before with Lord Farquaad, whatever his name is. There's a reason Shrek is so popular. It's
the
well
fucking
written.
gumdrop buttons.
It's gumdrop buttons. Yeah, it's well written. It's a good story, man. You can tell a good story in any medium, animated, live action, anything. It's all about the story. And Shrek is a good story. And you're right. It's a great comparison. This is similar to a Shrek. You can tell all kinds of different quests in the story. We just saw a quest. We just saw a game of D&D right there. Cool. Let's write another one. We can do so many more of these. And the rules change. the physics change. Everything about this universe changes based on what you write in the story. And I think they can do a great job with this. You could make the Dungeons and Dragons series or Dungeons and Dragons movies a series of movies and be insanely successful. Way
You
more
could.
than Fast and the Furious. So, just saying.
I'm a car guy. You gotta let that one go. I
I
said
hear you. I
guilty
hear you.
pleasure. I said
Fast and the
guilty
I fell off
pleasure.
Fast and the Furious after 6, and it was like, okay, now we're starting to get
You
a
made
little
it pretty
stupid.
far.
So I did, and the first 6 are
Actually,
great.
I
Well,
didn't
minus
fall
maybe
off of
2.
it. I
Yeah.
just missed them because of other things I had going on in my life. No.
Look, Kev says because of Smash Mouth. You're right. Smash Mouth was a great addition to Shrek. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure
That
makes
was
you
a
want to
great
smash
addition to
someone's
Shrek.
mouth.
Yep. So, I love Smash Mouth. Get out of here.
I know, but that song just, man. Oof.
All Star. Well, just erase All Star and you'll be good.
Yeah.
So.
I do think that it would be successful. What I do, I drew a comparison to myself watching this, and it was you and I have known plenty of people that have played, tabletop games. You're now getting into a point where you play more dice, physical games rather than, like virtual video, anything else that you're actually playing. And so when you have, I came to the realization of I may not have that kind of imagination where I can create these things while playing the game, because you see, I mean, one of the big ones, was it Joe Manganiello or whatever you say his last name, fucking
Yeah.
M16.
Mhm.
That dude's all the time. Like, he's well known. People make him fucking tables and shit to play on. It's all over YouTube. Yeah, it could have been a joke, but it wasn't a joke to Greg. And so when you have these big D&D players, or like, it's never been me. I can never relate, but I can relate to this. Like, I related heavily on what I knew about it and how much I like watching good stories, because I love watching good stories. I love reading good stories, watching good stories, but playing games like that, like, I do have a tough time with. So
Yeah. Well, I talked to my friend who's played D&D before, and he's actually working on building a game for us. He told me, like, D&D is all about the dungeon master. Like, you can have a really good story, or you can have a really shitty story, and it all depends on what the dungeon master does.
Big
So,
Bang, he does sound effects.
yeah, well, that kind of thing, yeah. But like, you can have a guy who makes it impossible, and after the first room you go into, you're dead, and nobody can win. Or you can have a guy who wants you to complete a mission and have a good game. It's totally different. So it's a very interesting game. I'm gonna hopefully play some pretty soon. And we'll see what happens. But I love D&D. I thought it was a great movie. I think Chris Pine for me is like, well, I don't want to put him that level yet, but he's like a Tom Hanks, a Will Smith, a Michael Bateman. Like, I look at these guys, and like, no matter what they do, I'm gonna watch it and probably enjoy it. I don't think I've ever seen anything with Chris Pine in it that I didn't like.
Chris Pine definitely plays Chris Pine. He's definitely very much, he brings as much of himself as he does the character he's trying to create on the screen at the same time. He's very much a 50-50 person. He's not a, like you mentioned earlier, like Bill Murray's probably a 75-80 to 25-20 person. Like, he brings more Bill Murray than he does the actor he's trying, or the character he's trying to create.
Yeah.
Chris Pine definitely brings about half and half, because it's him. It's his brand of humor. But I can't tell you that I was not absolutely enthralled and in love with his portrayal of Kirk. Like,
Yeah,
I loved what
that
he
got
did
me
with
into Star Trek. Yeah, he is the reason I watch Star Trek now. Like, that guy right there.
Yeah.
Like,
And so
those movies changed it for me. Yeah.
There is so much that he can do with just that. And I wish that he was given that to run off of. But it also, like, I watched, I can't remember the name of it, the one with him in the boat. That was a pretty good one. I know that's a very broad description, but it was very good. Like something about a lighthouse or whatever it was. either way, like he definitely has range. Michelle Rodriguez is definitely Michelle Rodriguez,
Yeah.
but I loved how they brought her to the screen in this. You know, it's where her love was Bradley Cooper as a small person. And I say small person, he was like a literally small person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I love the fact that it was Bradley Cooper. Why not? Why not have fun with that? Make her seem like, you know, she's this like big presence, and that's literally what it felt like. And all that was very much Dungeons and Dragons, and it very much worked very well. So
Yeah. I want to say she's almost a typecast character
mm-hmm.
where like she plays
She
the
is.
badass female. Period. Like I cannot see her as a frail female. I cannot see her like she's a badass female. I expect her to punch me in the face. Actually, I kind of
She showed up on
embrace it.
Fast and
Like punch me
Furious
in the
like
face. You know?
wearing like a high rise thong and low rise pants, and like she was about to, and she did. She fucking like clocked a motherfucker right there on the movie screen. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's her forever, and it very much has been.
Yeah.
I don't
Sexy,
hate
but
it.
yeah, sexy but lethal. That's the way
Yeah,
I look at it. Yeah.
you do not call her a B word.
No. No. Or C word. Don't call her any words. Call her by her name. How about that? Don't get punched in the face. Call her by her name.
Miss Rodriguez.
That's right. There you go. But yeah, man, Dungeons and Dragons for
He's
me
Thor's son.
was
He is Thor's son. I don't know if you saw that. Kevin was talking about it.
Yeah.
He was talking about that from the Star Trek movie.
Yeah. Look, D&D for me was great. It worked out well. I'm excited for it. I would love to see multiple movies of this franchise made. I think it was way better than Willow. And the
absolutely.
exact same kind of thing, where you have a world where there are no rules, make it work. And they did a good job. Willow did a terrible job. Good.
Did you see where Kasdan said that he is actually happy that they're pulling Willow off of Disney Plus?
No, I didn't. But I
Yeah.
probably would too, because Willow was garbage. So I could probably see why you're happy. There was one good character in there. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he was probably along the lines of like, maybe it'll make it a cult classic again if it's harder to find again. But I'm not sure. I didn't go into depth about the article. If it says Willow, I typically just kind of stray away from bothering about it much anymore, especially like canceled, blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to talk about pulling it off Disney Plus. I'm like, I mean, that's pretty bad when you're going to just yank it.
Look, Willow, I'll just go ahead and let you know, movies that you make less available because they weren't popular when they came out to make cult classics, like Fight Club and Pulp Fiction. Willow, you're not on that level. Sorry, it's not going to happen. Period. It's not happening. Just go ahead and discontinue everything you got. Nobody cares about it. It's done. It was a failure. It happens. Sometimes we fail. I fail. I fail a lot. I get it. It's no problem. But this is a failure. Willow, shut up. You're not a cult classic. You will never be a cult classic. Mm-hmm. Look, the oh gosh, what was the movie with rocks and the puppets? Gosh, I don't know why I can't remember it.
Oh, you're talking about
See, I'm doing it too. I can't think of it. I don't know why it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it. It's killing me right now. Anyway,
the one that Netflix brought back out, right?
The one that Netflix brought back. Yes,
yeah.
Yes. That is a cult classic. And they did a good job rebooting that. And I can watch that in the future. Even though I can't remember the name of it right now. But Willow, man, I'm sorry. Sometimes you just fail. And you failed. You get an F. You were horrible. It was not fun to watch. I liked Boromir. What Boromir? That's a Lord of the Rings character. What was the guy's name? Something. I can't remember. I liked him. I liked one of the main female characters. She did pretty good. Beyond that, the whole series sucked. And not just sucked a big asshole. Like sucking on a big asshole. It was terrible. Yeah, it was just horrible. And you'll never be that way. D&D is not that case, though. Like I said, D&D was what that was supposed to be. And they did a good job. You did not. I got nothing else. I just totally trashed Willow, which I loved growing up. But fuck Willow. They were
I came
horrible.
on here to talk good things about Dungeons
Yeah,
and
they were
Dragons, and I
horrible.
trash
I'm
Willow.
sorry. I
It's
want to
funny
be
how
a
that
good
works.
person, but I can't help it when shitty things come up. I gotta say they're shitty. Like, so I got nothing else, man. We got news.
The only thing I want to talk about, which there are release dates for a bunch of things, and I mean, if you're not keeping up with it, then maybe not be interested. I want to talk about the streaming networks real fast. Max, the biggest, worst marketing campaign I've seen, and
Fucked me up.
for
Yeah.
no reason why they were doing it. They wanted to drop the HBO name. They dropped a bunch of titles and added a whole bunch more. I understand why from a business point of view, but business point of view can suck it because this was a stupid decision.
Yep.
They said that, it's automatically going to update. You don't have to do anything. Your credentials and your account are going to be rolled over. My shit was not rolled over. I had to go and manually
Mine
do
neither.
everything.
Yep.
Made no sense.
Mhm.
I'm like, and then you're going to raise the price on making me do work. It's like I have to be the self-checkout person at Walmart for no reason. Yes, I'm going to steal shit. Why am I going to steal shit? Because you're making me work here.
Right. It's like, you want to get paid $15 an hour as a cashier, but I'm going to check my own shit out? Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. No problem. Let's begin. No, I'm right there with you, man. Like, honestly, I have not watched HBO Max or HBO or Max, whatever it is,
Max.
until today when I had to watch
For
Shazam.
Shazam,
When I had to, but when I wanted to watch Shazam. Because,
Well, it just changed like 2 days ago.
well, but honestly, the last couple of days I've tried to sign into HBO Max, it's giving me some kind of crazy shit, and I was like, I don't feel like doing this. I'm gonna go somewhere else. And I went to Netflix or Prime or something like that, just because I didn't want to do it. This is a dumb move. A dumb move. And by the way, purple is better than blue, so suck it. Like, seriously, why would you change from a badass purple to blue? Kiss my ass.
They probably sent me upwards of 15 emails telling me about this change. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. Right. I don't care.
Right.
I do not care that you want to change your name. It doesn't matter. You're not making a drastic change. You're literally dropping 3 letters from your 6-letter name. Don't care.
Nope.
So anyway, that was absolutely it was just stupid. I don't know why. I just wanted to point out how stupid it was. The other thing has been the Netflix sharing password policy.
Oh my God. So dumb. So dumb.
Oh, it has caused such a problem. And I don't know if you've seen all the articles, but it's like, you might as well just go ahead and drop Netflix for a month. Because number one, they're not going to come out with anything. Number two, it's just going to be a whole mess of things of, password issues for you to deal with. So maybe it's just time to cut the cord / uncord and get rid of Netflix for a little bit.
No,
the only reason
agree.
why they're doing this is because they went into the red for like the first time when it comes to like customers leaving. And the issue is that they have so many financial backers, and they were one of the first balloon tech industry things that went for entertainment. So they had so many people backing them, and they just kept blowing up and getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And finally, they reached that peak to where they backslid like a little bit.
Nope.
Everyone's like, "Oh no, what do we do?"
Nope.
And so here we have password policy, and everyone else, Blockbuster tweeted at them.
There's only one standing Blockbuster store in America. It's in Alaska. I disagree though. There's one standing Blockbuster store in America. It's in Alaska, I'm pretty sure, and they're still standing. I do not believe that is the case, Ross. I think that they fucked up because they came out and they had the idea that they were just the fucking media conglomerate of where they were, and they could do whatever the fuck they wanted to do, and they could put whatever shows out there they wanted to, and people were going to watch them because we're Netflix and we can watch them. Well, guess what? There's a lot. 5-6 years ago, that would have worked. But now when you put crappy shit out, nobody likes it. When you put good shit out and cancel it, nobody likes it. So there's other sources we can go to. So I feel like they bit off more than they could chew. They were like, we're Netflix. We can do whatever we want to do. And you're going to deal with it.
Yes and no. Because you don't understand their market. Their market is the world. Their market isn't you.
No, I agree. I agree.
Like with all the Korean shows and everything else they come out with, that is all marketing towards the world, not you. But when you start playing the numbers game, that's when you start making financial decisions. And they think that their numbers game, when it comes to canceling things, is smart. But, they keep making all these mistakes. But these mistakes are literally drops in the bucket compared to when they see a subscriber decrease. That is a knee-jerk reaction for them. And if the subscriber decrease comes from them making those bad decisions, it is what it is. But we're also talking about what is the one thing that they can do that isn't putting blame on them to fix a subscriber decrease. That is to find a way to quit the password sharing, because that will force people. Go ahead.
They're never going to.
Oh, I know.
They're never going to. You're right. Maybe it's
Amazon jabbed at them too.
Maybe there's good, but I just feel like they would be better set to stop putting out shit and promoting shit. And you're right. Like I said, that is my opinion. However,
you're making a quality over quantity argument.
You're right. I am. You're exactly right. I would much rather have better quality shows than have a quantity of shit.
Better
You're
quality
right.
everything than quantity of things.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I would much rather have better quality of everything than a quantity of shit. You're exactly right.
But that's on Netflix.
Now, you're right. It's on Netflix. And you said that kind of panders to my mindset of things I like. You're right. However, I'm in the majority. The majority of people agree with me. And if you want to make money, then you go with what the majority of people would say. Like if I'm selling a drink, okay, and 75% of people love it and 25% of people hate it, am I going to continue to make that 25% of people drink that they love? Or excuse me, am I going to discontinue that because 25% of people hate it? No, I'm not. Now, if I make a drink and 25% of people like it,
a sample.
Like, you're right. It's anecdotal.
What's your sample?
You're right.
Like,
you're right.
Where do you feel like you're in the majority on this one? That's the only thing I have to question, is because
the majority of shows that I love are the most popular shows on Netflix, and the ones that I love that are canceled are the most popular shows on Netflix. So I feel like I'm in the majority of common liking for things that come out.
You're definitely in the louder version, like, because I'm in the louder version. There's a bunch of things that I we all talk about the same types of things on this show, like the ones that we've hated that they've canceled versus the ones that they had that kept going for no reason. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that their point of view on how their businesses ran is different than how you and I think, for sure. And we can sit here and say quality all day,
wrong.
Because
I'm always right. I'm always right. They're wrong. Yeah. That's why they're multimillionaires and I'm not.
Well, that is the leg to take this show out on, because I don't know a better way to end it than that.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. And I totally get it. It's just that Netflix has so much money. Mm-hmm. Okay. That they can have a failure or multiple failures and be okay. And I'm cool with that. If I had that much money, then I would experiment like that too. I'm not gonna lie. I would cater to all kinds of different things to see where I made the most money. Okay, I get that with Netflix. But when you have something that makes money, have something that's viewed, just because you don't like it or you don't think it's the best thing, like you totally stomp on your grounds whenever you're like, well, we're going to do things that make money. But then when something makes money and is popular, you decide to get rid of it for no reason. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. I'm only kind of pissed off about the Josh Duhamel show. What was the? I'm only pissed off about that. That, you know what? I'm not gonna say I'm pissed off at that, and I'm pissed off about Jupiter,
Bebop,
Jupiter Rising, and Cowboy Bebop. I'm kind of pissed off about those two, to be honest with you. I see a lot of things on Netflix, and this is my opinion, that are nowhere near as good as that, and they continue. But
Greg, do you own stock?
I do. I own a number of stocks, yeah.
So you own stock.
I do. Are you kidding me? I got you into crypto. Are you kidding me?
So let's have this conversation real fast. If a company was making shit that didn't work because it kept lowering their numbers, would you advise them to stop doing that? Because
Yes, of course I would.
Netflix is
Yeah.
an investor-based platform, and the reason why they have so much equity in the company is because people believe in what they're not just believe in what they're doing, they're seeing what they're doing and they're trying to back it. And so when you have that many backers, all these people and all these investors want to see them keep growing. And the moment that they backslide 1%, it's a panic because they set the bottle, they set the bar, they set the realm of what is happening right now in streaming. And the moment that they backslide, that's why I say it's a knee-jerk reaction. And that's why I say I prefer quality, but you're not getting quality out of this. What you're getting is a straight numbers game. And that's why it is what it is. I hate it. YouTube has a great model of...
No, fuck YouTube. Go to
No,
Rumble.
listen to me. YouTube TV has a great model. And what they did was they changed it to where as long as you log in every 30 days at your home IP address, you can take your YouTube TV anywhere and watch it anywhere. But once every 30 days, you have to relog in at your home IP address.
Hey, that sounds like a great solution right there.
Well, that's not what they went to. Not Netflix.
No, because of course not. That sounds like a great solution, which, by the way, can be bypassed. And I'll go ahead and tell you, Netflix, no matter, look, I pay for my Netflix, okay? So I'm not saying this is a person who shares with somebody or whatever. If you change however you want to, I don't care what you do. I'll figure a way around it. I will. Do you know why? It's like if you take away guns, you'll figure a way around it.
Or your kids will figure a way around it because even though they're not on your Netflix account anymore, they'll be like, maybe I don't want to watch Netflix. And I'm just going to watch Insta for even twice the amount of time to watch it for, which is a lot of time.
Right. There is no corralling this universe right now. Like we are in the wild west of streaming services.
It's adapt or die.
If you put stuff out there, it's going to get watched. Whether somebody pays you or not, it's going to get watched. So now, don't get me wrong. I recommend you buy a Netflix subscription. I recommend you pay for all your services. I'm that guy. I pay for all my services. So I recommend you do that. However, there are people who are not going to. And you're not going to stop them. Period. That's all there is to it. Just like no matter what laws you make, there are people who are always going to commit crime.
Where's Tizzy when you need him? Where's Tin?
Exactly, yeah. No, but I feel like that if we continue to go, we're going to get into politics, and we shouldn't get into politics right now.
No.
But all right, man. That was your only news? Because I got nothing else for news.
I just want to talk about that real fast.
Okay. I had one more thing I'd written down. Oh, yeah, Little Mermaid. I'm going to see that this weekend.
God, report back to me. I want to know how this works out.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Look.
What's that on your woke meter? You said woke meter. I'm like,
no, I said woke warning. I said woke warning in the text. Yes. That is like it's up there. And look, here's my thing, okay? I don't care. I do not give a shit that they cast the person who played Little Mermaid as a person of color. I don't care. I don't fucking care. Okay? It does not bother me. It's cool. If she does a good job, awesome. I don't like that they changed the words to the song Kiss the Girl. Ross, you've seen Little Mermaid. You know the Kiss the Girl song? They changed the words to that, okay? Look, I get evolving with times and changing things. It's the reasoning for it. They said the reason they changed the words for Kiss the Girl was because it was Sebastian, a male, talking to Eric, a male, about forcing a female to kiss somebody unwillingly. No, it is not. The entire premise of the movie is Ariel kissing Eric to break the spell. That is the entire premise of the fucking movie. So when you were trying to shove this woke stuff into me, it's irritating. If you want to put something in there, I have no problem with it. But don't change something for no reason and shove shit in my face that is bullshit. The point of Sebastian, or her singing that song, Sebastian singing the song Kiss the Girl, was not because it was two males talking about how they could dominate a female. The entire premise of the movie is Ariel wanting to kiss Eric to break the spell. Period. That's it. So
see, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I just don't get angry about it. I'm like, what the fuck ever? Who cares?
Right. You know don't get angry about it. But you know what, Ross?
If this is your generation, Little Mermaid, whatever.
Nope. You know what, Ross? You don't get angry about it, but you have a kid on the way. talk to
Doesn't
me in
matter.
5 years. No,
I don't
talk to me in
care.
5 years. Talk to me in 5 years, and we're gonna see what happens. Because I guarantee you, things are gonna change.
I'm way past the age of giving a shit about any of that.
Okay.
Like, none of it bothers me. All this other bullshit. Like, look, I have no problem with Ezra Miller and his fucking choices. What I have a problem with when it comes to that, I have a problem with his choices when it comes to them fucking harming other people.
Agreed.
Right? Like, I don't give a shit about anything else that he wants to be a part of. I give a shit about like when his decision making
Agreed.
affects other people
Mhm.
and when he causes harm to other people.
Mhm.
I don't care about all the other crap. Whatever.
I
You
agree.
want to be whatever you want to be. Be whatever you want to be. I don't give a
I
shit.
agree with you.
I wanted
Yep.
to be all sorts of things when I was a kid. Fucking, there's reality and there's things that you want to be, and it doesn't matter. This
Well,
I understand. I
You
understand
just
what you're
summed it up
saying.
right there.
Yeah.
There's reality and things you want to be. That
So.
you just summed up right there. So we'll end this before we get political, because I think we're starting to get on that point. But yes, you're right. You summed it up right there. There's reality and things you want to be. So, look, I got nothing else to talk about tonight. Did all the shows, did the guests, everything else, not the shows, the movies. Ross, you got anything else you want to comment on?
No, I'm happy that we have more things coming out on the horizon. I said for a long time that we're going to be busy, busy, busy. I'm actually very appreciative of the lull in things to watch. I'm waiting to see when Doom Patrol is going to come out.
Mm.
We found out that at some point towards the end of the year that the next Boys show will come out. Excuse me, end of the year to next March, I think. At some point, then the Boys will come out. We are getting the shoot, what was it? It was the next season of. Oh, look at this! Oh man! So we start off. Spider-Man is about to hit theaters. Transformers will be out. Extraction 2 is going to be on Netflix. The Flash comes out on the 23rd. Indiana Jones, you said you're not caring about a whole lot, on the 30th. Now,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Say
No,
it.
I was going to say, Indiana Jones, look, I told you beforehand, I was about 95% not going to see that movie in theaters. One, because I'm not a huge Indiana Jones fan. But two, that's where the woke meter came out. Or the woke
Oh.
warning came out. Okay? Look, and it may be something small, very small, but there's a scene in there where they're like, I stole this from you. I stole this from you. And no, I stole this from you. That's socialism. Or that's capitalism. No, it's not. No, it's not. Now, you can argue that when we're in a capitalist world, that things are not working out the way they should, and you may be right about that. You very well may be right about that. But that does not mean that's what capitalism is. And teaching people that's what capitalism is incorrect. Incorrect to teach
I'm
them
going to
that.
stop you right there because,
Yeah.
once again, we're not going to get on that conversation. Silo is out. If people aren't watching Silo on Apple TV, it's fantastic. It is a fantastic show. Go watch it. Star Trek Strange New Worlds hits on the 15th.
Yeah.
Secret Invasion hits on the 21st.
Ooh, I like it.
The Witcher hits on the 29th.
Oh, we got a lot coming up.
Foundation starts again on the 14th of July.
I'm reading the books right now.
You got it.
I'm reading Expanse, not Foundation. Sorry, those
good.
are crazy words.
Yeah. I need to get you on a bunch of things that I'm going to find a way to get you Apple TV.
As soon as I buy a new TV, bro, I'm watching so many things.
Stop buying other things. Buy a new TV, dude. I can get you. You want a new TV?
Yeah, but I can.
How much you want to spend,
dude? I can print Saba right now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I can get you a new TV. You sell 3 of those Sabas. I'll get you a new TV.
I sell 3 of those Sabas, and I will buy myself a new TV.
There you go.
I'm down.
It's a win-win.
Win-win, exactly. Win-win. No, seriously, it's been a good combo, man. We've had a lot of stuff to talk about. Look, there is a definite shift in the entertainment industry, and you just got to kind of guide it how you want to. There's no really wrong or right way. It's just kind of what you believe in. I recommend for everybody to invest in things you believe in and not invest in things you don't believe in. And that is the best way to live your life.
I recommend the
That's
same
it.
thing.
Yeah.
I just recommend that you appreciate the things that you appreciate and fuck everything else. If you don't like it, fuck it. You don't have to like it.
Yeah. Okay. I can feel that. Ross, let's get out of here, man. I am the Bat Daddy 52. My name is Greg. I am on Twitter. You can check me out at the Bat Daddy 52 on Twitter is my personal handle. I don't really get on there much because honestly, fuck social media. I'm kind of done with social media, to be honest with you. The only reason I'm on there is to find sports stuff, to talk to my friends that I have on there, and to promote the show. Beyond that, I don't give a damn about social media. Like, seriously, I made a comment the other day about a Scottie Pippen thing, a stat. And I had somebody, my friend Travis Hines, and I don't care if I'm not talking shit, but I don't care if I talk about him because he's my friend. And, he jumped into the conversation like, oh, this and this and this and this. And I can't talk with you because you won't be rational. Well, let me put it this way. You jumped into a conversation you weren't a part of. You accused me of things I didn't say. Then when I opposed what you said you couldn't talk to me and ran away. That's not rational.
Hey man, you don't have to hate him for
That's
it.
not rational. I'm
You
just
can
saying.
say, I know,
Yeah.
but you know what? The thing is, you don't have to carry that weight.
No, I don't. I can
Nope.
shut Twitter off and never look at it
Yep.
again and be fine. You're right. And that's why I'm so done with social media, man. Social media is so terrible.
So you can be
And I
like
only have
me.
Twitter.
I'm nobody at nowhere.
Yeah.
You're not gonna find me.
Yeah. I'm about to be nobody nowhere too, man. I'm about to be the Bat Daddy on YouTube, and you can find me there, period.
Yep.
Or Rumble. We might start doing a Rumble too. We'll see. But
Rumble's the thing.
Rumble's a big thing.
I don't
Yeah.
even want to know about it. No.
Well,
don't
yeah.
care.
I hear you. Yeah, so we might be checking that out. But check us out. We're live every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to actually post a show this
Unless
week.
we're not.
Yeah, because I'm off all weekend, so there shouldn't be any reason why I can't post a show this week. But any podcast or your choice, hit us up. Come to the show live. We'll post your comments. We'll talk about what you have to talk about, and we will answer your questions. So I got nothing else to say, man. You out?
Yeah. Welcome Sarah back whenever she comes back.
We will definitely do that for sure. We miss Sarah. She
Miss
is
Sarah.
definitely a big member of the team.
She's a leg in our tripod.
There you go. I like it. All right, man. Well, I guess until next week.